So, g'day out there. So farmers didn't know about your visitor to your cornea. Well, close to your cornea, not your cornea, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Farmers didn't know about
Right, that's muted the live stream.
Oh, good.
Where's that echo? Oh, bollocks, yeah.
So, yes, I thought Paul might want to tell you about his visit.
Yeah, a week and a half ago, farmers, I managed to get a bit of metal right in the centre of my right eye. Yeah.
Just think about it. No.
Oh, I know, and it was that was on a Wednesday, right? Not this last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. And by Friday, it was damn near killing me. And I dropped in at my mum's on Saturday, and she gave me some Clawsig cream like an antibiotic to put in it. That made it feel better. But then on Monday, holy shit, it was like someone had punched me in the face every time I look in the light, you know. And so she took me down to the emergency department of the hospital, and they didn't even bother getting the doctor. They just sent me straight down to the optometrist in Horsham, and she removed this chunk of metal out of the middle of my eye. And it started feeling better almost instantly, but then on Thursday it started really playing up again, and so I went back for another visit, and they said no, there's nothing in there, but it looks inflamed, and they sent me off to Ballarat, which is a 3-hour journey from here, for a second opinion. And he said, yeah, it's where the bit of metal was, because it had been in there a few days, it started to rust a little bit. There was a little bit of rust embedded in my cornea. So he sort of ground that out with a special tool and said, yes, your cornea is very inflamed. And he gave me steroid drops for it. And now it feels a lot better.
I mean, I used to wear contact lenses a lot. And I know of the pain of if you get something caught between the lens and the eye. If you're out and it's dry and it's windy and it's dusty, when you get something in there, that's bad enough without actually getting a bit of metal stuck in your bloody eye. I mean,
yeah, it's like someone to put the whole of fucking 90 Mile Beach in my eye, you know.
Well, way back in the day, contact lenses, you used to have to take them out and put in a cleaning solution for, say, 10 minutes. And you drain that out and put a neutralizer in. And I think, I did it once, I did it twice. You wake up in the morning, you go to stick the contact lens in your eye, and it's at that point that you realise that you didn't put the neutralizer in. And the cleaning solution is 5% hydrochloric acid.
Ouch.
Somebody's got a red hot poker and gone straight in your eye. So, your eyelids are just closed up solid, but you know you've got to prise them open and get that contact lens out because it's sitting in there and burning away. And pulling your eyelid open is just, it's even more painful. And then you spend the next few hours looking like a bloody Terminator because your eyeball is bright red. And and you say, I'll never do that again. I did it twice.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and anything involved with the eye is just, no. So I can well imagine what you were going through.
And then you get no sleep on top of that.
Yeah, because it just hurts.
Yep.
And hurts. And doesn't say, okay, I'll stop whilst you go to sleep.
Yes.
Is today's scientist Frank Zappa?
Yes.
Frank Zappa.
Clive's already got it. He's worked it out.
Some would say he was a genius at a good many things, but I don't think he was a scientist. He wasn't very good at naming his kids either. Yeah, we'll call you Moonian.
It's good to see it's PhD Tony out there.
Hey.
I'll have to try and be less. I'll have to try not to mispronounce my words tonight. Oh, that was pretty bad. The other way. I got almost every second word wrong.
You're not going to mispronounce any words tonight,
except for the mispronunciation. No. Yeah, of course I am. I mean, silly. Can't help it. Zwicky. Is that a real person?
Zwicky. It is.
Oh, there you go.
It is a real person.
Is he named Frank? Frank Zwicky.
No, it's not Frank Zwicky. Come on. You can think of other Swiss names starting with F, surely.
Oh, Franz.
Not Fernando.
France.
Somebody did a song about him.
France.
Yeah, it's Fritz.
Fritz.
Fritz Zwicky.
Fritz Zwicky.
Not Franz, as in Ferdinand.
No. Franz Ferdinand. No, close. Might have been close.
There's a song in that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, could be. That's all right. We're not having a music quiz tonight, so we need to do plan one for when Matt's here, and But what we'll do is we'll get one of all these really obscure ones, and we'll tell Alan the answers, and.
Not a bad idea. Are you cheating? No.
No. We'll get into that.
Well, I just posted something in your Discord, Timbo.
Yeah.
Because I just spotted it on Facebook.
Let me have a look.
Whilst practically all of the Northern Hemisphere is suffering a heat wave, somehow here in England is pissing it down.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, the hottest in Northern Hemisphere in a long time, except in Britain.
They've had the tractors out on the circuit this morning with the big scrapers on the front, trying to get the water off the track.
Yeah. I absolutely had to go over to Latham's this morning because I ran out of bog roll.
Oh, well, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
And yeah, and it was pissing down with rain, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they have. I mean, they're full wets. They've got the rain suits on. Well, some have been modified. The tractors have been out with the scraper blades. I mean, it's perfect weather for motorbikes. I feel sorry for the poor buggers who are in tents. Telling them all week it was going to rain.
Their choice.
Yep.
It's supposed to be getting drier over here. The El Nino effect is supposed to be kicking in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see these reports in Europe is on fire, and it's like not here we ain't. Bloody awful out there, man. Put your jumper on.
It has been for the last month, though, hasn't it? Really?
But, and it's annoying because it's now this time of year when you really don't want it to rain because it's now doing its best to flatten all the crops just in time for harvest. Although some places managed to get it done before, but
they've just harvested all the barley or wheat from the fields around here. So of course the house is now full of bloody flies, isn't it?
Yep, that's how it works. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think the last month we've had a shower pretty much every single day up around here.
Yeah, we've had a few days, and people are saying at work, "Oh, that'd be good for the farmers, won't it?" No, we don't want it now. No. It's too late now. It's done its growing. Now we want it dry.
Yeah.
Well, you can't harvest a crop wet. Well, you could, but you'll lose it as it rots in the barn.
I found out what happened to my neighbour's combine harvester. Fortunately, it was while driving on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The discs, the pads were binding on the discs, so yeah, it set fire to the brakes, and a fair bit of it, and some wiring, of course.
Oh dear, that's so good.
So it wasn't what I'd predicted, and that he just hadn't cleaned it properly before he started harvest.
Well, I don't know, but apparently it was caused by the disc brakes. Fortunately, it didn't happen while he was on a field.
Yes, that's a pretty bad place to have something catch fire in the middle of a field that you're harvesting, and all that dry straw and everything around you.
Especially when it's the wheels.
Yep. Live. It flattens the crops. It doesn't level them. It flattens them. It's a real bastard to harvest them.
Yeah.
Talking about flattening crops.
Or if you
go on.
Or if you've got rape, I discovered it knocks all the seed pods to the ground and then it's completely worthless.
Yep.
Talk about
you spent a year growing that crop, nurturing it, spraying it, fertilising it, and then you just throw it away.
I took my scooter out for a ride today, and I found these things. You know what that is?
Looks like a cockatoo.
It is. There's two of them, so it's a cock and a two. Do you know how much those are worth in the US?
Probably lots.
Yeah, $200 to $500 each. So.
$200. Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, no end.
There's barely any meat on this damn thing.
Yeah. You don't get much in KFC for one of those, no. So yes, I was just thinking. Yeah, they're one of those birds that keeps getting people get caught trying to traffic them out of the country. But yeah. So there's a lot of, and the reason why I brought up the traffic. So imagine one of a crop of these, and this is a small flock compared to the ones they get down the wheat country, attacking your crop. So you're just lucky they don't eat your windowsills, which they have been known to do as well. So, as I put up a warning, I think I put up some bingo. You ready for some bingo?
Always ready for bingo.
Yes, are we ready for that bingo?
Lindsay.
Lindsay Bingo. Yes, usual rules apply, or the new rules apply, that if you get bingo, you can call a stop to the proceedings. Particularly as tonight's episode, I believe he's called Some Physics Regarding Our FE System. So,
oh dear.
Oh no.
So, okay.
I don't see anything good coming out of this.
No.
Okay, let's see how we go. Let me just put him on Lindsay speed.
Oh lordy, look at all that.
Oh my good God.
Yeah.
Back here, let's go.
This side. And this is full moon.
We may have missed one. I don't think I'll go back and find it. So let's go from here.
It's the sun. The sun's light's going through the black hole. This is daytime out here. Daytime out here.
I'm on a roll.
Full moon.
Oh, you're on a roll
Full
already.
moon's out further.
Sun,
because
full
it's
moon.
down and out. Works like this.
Yeah, turn it up, Mick, can you?
All the planets on their tracks.
What's that, sorry? You can hear that?
Can you
Okay.
turn it up?
I can turn it up. Do you really want to hear it more? Yes.
Yes,
Let's
but because I obviously want to fill in my bingo card as quickly as possible.
Down and out.
That should be better.
Down and out. You're moving out, see? Up and in.
And out and
When I first discovered this a while back, a few months back, I walked out for a break, turned on the TV, YouTube, and then Santos Benassi. And about 5 minutes later, he was mentioning the down and out. Down and out. But he's referring to cosmology and that.
No, I think he was just talking about himself. Sorry.
yeah, he's
You know,
down
zodiac
now.
sign, all that sort of stuff. And I knew exactly what he was talking about, and it worked with this model exactly. So you can't debunk this. That's what the moon does. It winds around this cone. In the science video I just watched, they're showing you this cone idea, and they're showing you how you get the elliptic curve round like this. So if you take a cone, run a flat strap around it, without creasing it, it'll wind down like this. So you get this look here, and this is what we get when we saw our celestial bodies. When you see it so far, right? It's like our bodies. It's all nature. See, look, our arms only go to there. What's behind us? Well, it's night time. You don't see behind there. That's the other side. That's the dual system. If you get to connect that. But it's not spherical. Came down to a flat earth. So, we've got this attraction going on. The centre of the vortex, the black hole. You get sucked in it. But on the horizon out here, it's a magnetic repulsion. So, because we've all been created from in here, inertia, it's like the when you vortex water, there's a hollow spot in the middle. We're from out of there. We come out of there, and it's just the way it is. And
How many
so in this
holes?
area around here, it's got all this action. The magnetic convergent point. We'll race back in here. This. Let's go back to the flat earth there. See, I've drawn it like this because here in our physical world, we work with models like this, capacitors. You're seeing guys with their magnetic.
I haven't seen a model like that.
No.
Ooh,
Magnets.
I think that's it.
Circular.
What haven't I done? I haven't shared the bingo. Yes, I did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, I did. Clive, look up about 10 posts. There you go. I think that means bingo is under. Yeah, Clive wants us to play the whole thing.
The magnets. Earth is just exactly the same. And they'll wrap copper coil around them, turn it into a toroidal capacitor.
Capacitor.
So you've already got this flux going on in the magnet, right? And then they'll have another one in here and they'll start turning it. And a moving magnetic field gives us an EMF, an electromagnetic field that creates extra energy. Right? Well, this is the same as Earth, but we don't have the copper windings, do we? Ours is all based solely on magnetic fields. And so if you take this, so the center, there's the centre, that's northern hemisphere, and that's the tropics. Then you've got the southern field, right? And these are equal. In which way equal? Well, the copper windings the same length. Whatever you've got wound in here will be the same as in here. Copper core, both the same resonance. Isos meaning equal. Tropos meaning to change, turn and change.
Get a coherent sentence
That's what it's
together,
doing.
man.
The Earth's magnetic field goes down the tropics through the ground, back up.
Jesus,
It
wait.
comes down to the ground, back up. It's changing because on the bottom of Earth it's negative, on top it's positive. So you've got that interaction of the magnetic fields through here, and the tropics is right there in the centre. And
What on
and this
earth?
is where all the magic happens.
What are
You
tropical
get this
about?
extra. The trinity. I call it magic happening between these two magnetic fields. It's to do with religion. It's all written. All this is in the Bible anyway. It's all in religion. It's all spelled out.
Did he edit his
Mythological
video?
stories. It all comes down to this one thing. But keeping religion aside.
This must be an old
So we take a slice through here and turn it around and look. We're looking at it through like this now. So there's the Earth, atmosphere above Earth. This is Earth on this side. It's a dual system. Earth is the plane of inertia. It's come out of the black hole.
Sure, I've got plenty of inertia.
And this is the
I had it
magnetic field.
last time, but I don't this time. It's annoying.
So Earth is basically a capacitor. The magnetic field's coming out of the Antarctica. Come to the tropics. Get pulled down through the Earth. Come back up here. They pass out, back past the sun. Some go into the sun to create the voltage. Other pass by, go to the tropics, come back down through the Earth, come around this way. But in between, this is a magnetic field, moving magnetic field, always moving. But it comes down here, it creates this one in here. The EMF basically, because we don't have copper. That's the EMF induced magnetic field. It comes up and gets pulled back into the sun. So you can say you can got a positive and a neutral, negative phase or whatever. Bang, creating the sun. So once you've got the light created, the spark, you've got the magnetic field moving. Once you've got the magnetic field moving, and the spark's there, it just keeps feeding each other. The spark will feed the magnetic field, the magnetic field will feed the spark. Then you can disconnect, well back in this case, you just disconnect the power supply, which got it going in the first place, and with the right resonating frequencies, it just works itself. That's how Earth works. So back here, We have to have a moving magnetic field. How do we get a moving magnetic field? So up until now,
That's you got to
what
tell
we're
us.
doing now is we're moving. Something's moving. So this outer ring can spin, or the inner one will spin. To get the spark, get the voltage, get the current flowing in the coils here. And it's always has to be moving though. But if we get the right resonating frequency, we'll get to a point. I think we can do now. You can disconnect that power supply, and it'll keep spinning by itself, and it gives you free energy. It's on YouTube. The Indian guy's got little motors and stuff. He's doing it.
Oh yeah,
It's spinning a magnetic field.
Yeah.
So it can be done. He's shown it, but
I think this is a vintage Lindsay, actually. That's why it's got edits in it.
yeah. So well, it's feeding itself. You got free energy there, haven't you? Let's do it on a bigger scale. But the idea is to get it going with. Well, it's always going to need something to get going.
But of course, you can't actually do it.
Either it's pressure,
No.
get the pressure up, bang, or whatever. But this is how it's going to work in the future. It's that induced magnetic field. We've got it.
Perpetual motion.
Earth is doing it. If you understand the flat Earth model, spinning ball doesn't work at all because the sun's 93 million miles away.
No, it's not.
You have to have the
3
sun
miles
here.
away.
The whole system works like that. It works with magnets, electrical circuits, everything. Can't deny the flat Earth celestial navigation model. So, what is a compass point north? Because it is the centre of magnetic convergence. The strongest magnetic point of a circle is at the centre of a ring magnet, I should say, is the centre. It is a vortex, the point of
Yes,
convergence,
it is, Clive.
magnetic convergence, just like the black hole is, how Earth has come from.
Come on, say some
So it's always going to be pointing north and south, your needle, isn't it? And this is getting pulled back into there because it's so strong. See, this is getting pulled back into there because it's basically the opposite. So we know it as high pressure from the Arctics, high pressure from the Arctic. They rush to the tropics. Science has got this straight across, so they're thinking it's going all the way over there. But because they must be measuring this field here, they're trying to tell you it's negative and positive, or south and north. They know Earth is negative, up atmosphere is positive. That's north and south of rubbish. They're both the same. Positive. I'll put that on there actually.
And you're positive about that.
South. South. North. North. South. South. North. North. That's what it is. South, north, north, south, south, north, north, south. They have to be. They're opposing fields. Opposing, and then you get the opposite coming in the middle. So they'll rush to the opposite.
Dear,
That's how it
that
works.
is collapsing in on itself.
They'll rush in, because they're rushing in, and that's rushing out. But with just one system, north and the south, it just rushes in. That's it. It's over and done with. Gone. Earth's gone. No existence. This gets everything flowing. Okay, should see my other videos. Like this. See, it's moving the celestial bodies in that gap. So the celestial bodies move around our Earth. This is the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, but what makes them move?
And something else. I've realised there's no
the
north
perpetual
and
energy,
south
don't
pole
we
on
see?
these magnets. Only the faces. That's north and they're south. They're both north. Put them together. They're repelling. No matter which way you do it, it's repelling. It's because they're sliced down the middle. There's south on this side. So we flip it over and put south and north. Then you got the attraction all the way around, just like this.
So there is south to north.
So there's no north and south here. Just like there's no north and south here. It's south and south. North's in the middle, if anything. But the bar magnet's different. See, we get this magnetic convergence in the centre here, right? You've got to pull in the dead centre, but on this horizon out here, it'll be divergence coming out. But in a flat ring magnet like this, we get it's like this. It's more like this. You get the divergence coming out like this. And the suction down to the centre here.
What?
I'll show you.
What?
It's jumping. It's sort of jumping down the centre here. It wants to race to each side. See the jump? It wants to avoid that centre. It's going all the way up there actually. All the way up. Each time I do this, it's something different. It's always different. It's a bit strange. I don't know if you can see that. That's what it's doing. So, what have we got here? So back to the flat earth. So you've got the two forces, positive and negative, coming together to create the spark. You got the spin, black hole spin, rolled it to positive. And then you got the full moon. Full moon's out here, behind the sun. This is regarded as the breastplate, this part. So full moons come down away from the sun, down and out, full moon. And it goes back up around to the other side into its face, where the sunlight's coming across the black hole. The full, I haven't drawn it here. The moon will be here, right in here. Neutral, you do not see it. It's phased out. It's a chemical reaction. It's not shadowed by anything, it's just phased right out. And you would have heard that Venus moves in the opposite direction. Well, no, it doesn't. Nothing moves in the opposite direction. The black hole spin is only one way. Everything moves one way. Venus, moving in the opposite direction, refers to it phases in the opposite direction. I think it's the only planet that phases opposite to all the others. It will be neutral back here at night for a few days, but it's full and right in the front of the sun. But we can't see it unless you, because of the glare of the sun. When cameras, you know, if you shade the sunlight, sun filters on your camera, you probably see it. Well, that's full Venus here, complete opposite. What else we got? Gravitational force is merely centrifugal acceleration into a magnetic convergent vortex. So we in creation are the opposite. So we're inverted. We're in the magnetic field out here. So gravity is, we're inside it. So it's pushing us back to the centre of mass. We are the centre of mass. No matter where we are on Earth, we are it, not Earth. Earth is a state of inertia. We always have to fall back to the state of inertia, back into the centre of the black hole. So no matter where we are, we'll have to fall back to the Earth, no matter what it is. This is why Einstein talks about relativity and a feather and a cannonball falling at the same speed. They're sort of right there because we're all falling back into that black hole.
That's known for.
But like they say, it depends on pressure and size and all this other stuff to go with it. But anyway, at the end of the day, we're all falling back to the state of inertia, and we are the centre of mass. Everything is its own centre of mass. It's come out of there. Everything is all around us. We are the centre of the universe. So you've got a South Pole, not North Pole. North Pole's back here, the tropics. That's the opposite to these poles.
But that would mean that the magnet wouldn't face north.
You've got that repulsion
Higher
pushing
than the
back.
tropics.
So this is the sun and the sun and the moon. You've got this magnetic field going on, where they're facing off all the time. All the celestial bodies, they're all facing off as they go around. Yep, you can't get in there. It's locked in this other outer magnetic vortex, and it sits there and turns, facing off each other. That's why they're discs.
I haven't got any words.
Discs, facing off each other, always facing each other. It cannot
I've
turn.
got lots of words, but
It'll be the end of us.
all over the bloody place.
Just like this as they turn around the black hole.
If he could just say spiritual awakening or bell.
All the celestial bodies face to the black hole. We are looking outward from within the black hole. Everything is all around us.
The end.
Oh,
Damn it. I just needed Egyptians.
Egyptians. I didn't get that. Sorry.
yeah, and that wasn't going to happen either, was it?
No.
No.
Shit. We had to put up with the whole bloody thing. Is it me or is he getting worse?
No, that was
Well,
that was an old one.
just random.
I think that's an old one, and I think he's just replaced it. Yeah, because he's got his board up on the wall.
This side.
Up on the, yeah. Right. So I think after
Oh,
how he's
yeah.
how he's on about everyone has to pay him to get more info now. I think maybe he's just gone to posting his old videos again. Because remember how YouTube has cut back the number of viewers he has. And
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah.
Because YouTube does that, doesn't it?
Yeah. YouTube is stopping his viewers. So maybe he's put on one and he had more views, thinking that he'll get more. Because he put it up a second time, of course. Yeah, go on, Alan.
Timbo, you seem to have got really quiet all of a sudden.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I didn't
while
touch
still
anything.
overdriving your microphone.
I didn't touch anything. Not my fault.
It's a talent.
How are you going to be overdriving my microphone? Hang on. Is that any better? That's all the way up the other end. Still any better?
Yep.
No?
Sure, that was on the other night.
Yeah.
What's that?
Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was called. That's one of all the was an 80s film with an AC/DC soundtrack. Based on the Stephen King novel, All the Machines Come Alive.
No, Clive, that is not the rule. We do
Yeah,
not have to-
1986, Maximum Overdrive. That's it.
Clive is trying to suggest we have to keep going until someone gets bingo.
I can barely hear you now.
Yeah.
Life? What?
You do have a habit of leaning away from your microphone as well, don't you?
I haven't moved at the moment. I haven't been in the same spot. I'm not even eating chips. So.
That's better.
Oh, there we go.
So, is that better? Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yes, I changed the gain at the back. It might have helped.
And no, Clive, we don't have to watch another Lindsay just because we didn't get bingo.
Because if we did, I would find one on Egyptians, and that would be.
Yeah.
No, that's all we needed. We wouldn't even have to start. Oh, dear. Oh, I don't have a lot of flat Earth stuff tonight. Well, I did look, but I tell you, it's getting harder and harder. There's a lot of rubbish stuff, which are just they're not actually doing anything really. I do have a Brian Not So Logical. Hang on, let's put him up. Where
Oh,
is
Sky Moyles.
Sky Moyles. Sky Moyles.
We squid wheels.
Sky Moyles.
Well, how are you doing? Okay, I'm going to be covering this upward moving Earth topic.
I cannot. Sorry, I got to slow him down because we cannot have him at anything faster. He's hard enough to understand as it is.
Not
What are you on about?
because I intended on not doing it. Only because it's getting out of hand. So I feel I should do it. I have to. There's too many people
Sky is up in the air.
believing this nonsense. So I've already given privately the reasons why this is nonsense. Right, several months ago at this stage. But publicly, I've mentioned a few things on Nathan's and I think maybe QE Live, but I don't know if people are really catching on. There's certain reasons why, if the Earth is moving up, whether it be one group of people claim a constant velocity and another group of people claim it's a constant acceleration. Either way, I'll go through both of those claims. But either way, there's certain implications to these things. And we would have to observe and experience these implications.
It's quite clearly not the case.
No, that's right. Yeah, but I think because he's been picked on a bit as to whether he's been listening to Dell, I don't know. So, yeah.
Right. So, regardless of whatever.
Well, if he doesn't want to get picked on, stop talking shit.
Probably. But I think within the flat Earth community, there's this is a bit of a debate. It was good the other night. Sorry to pause it. We had Merle and Mabbott were talking either side of the But it was real interesting, and then someone came along and wrecked it. But it was like they were having this discussion, almost like scientific discussion about two completely wrong things.
Merle and Mabbit.
Yeah.
What a fucking awful combination that is. I mean, Merle's just out there with the fairies, and Mabbit's just pretending to be angry about the world and everything in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, it was interesting. I think it was Babbitt, but anyway, I'm pretty sure it was Mabbit. Yeah, definitely Merle. Anyway, let's see what he's got to say.
Induced, because they're induced effects that these people are seeing with bottles and different mediums in bottles and dropping the bottles and different things like that. Regardless of whatever effects are being seen and induced, right, that we don't observe in the natural world. And
we do.
People trying to find the cause of these effects. Fair enough, you want to find the cause of why this is happening, right? But to jump straight to the Earth is rising up is a crazy leap, right? It's totally illogical, and there's not enough thought have to be put into it as to how this would play out and the implications of it, right? There's also a big misunderstanding about density differentials, and density gradients, and the ones we have in the real world, right? So I'm not going to go into any of that. I just want to focus purely on the implications, because until we focus on the implications of these claims and how ridiculous they make these claims, we can never get to, if these people ever want to get to, the real reason why they're seeing the effects they're seeing. And I've already detailed why they're seeing these effects. But I don't even think it's really important to even detail it now, right? What's important is go through the implications of what they're claiming, how that would play out in reality. So that's what I'm going to try to stick with in this video, because that's all that matters. If you're claiming this, then this is the implication of it in reality. This is what we do observe in reality. Is what you're claiming, does that match what we observe? And if it doesn't, then it's wrong. It's that simple, right? It's demonstratable, right? Let's just say, right? So, there is two claims, as I said. One is that the Earth is moving up at a constant velocity, which means it has a constant rate of motion upwards. The other one is that it is moving up at a constant acceleration. Now, acceleration and deceleration are, right, both changes in the rate of velocity over time, right? Acceleration is normally described as speeding up. Deceleration is described as slowing down. But they're both acceleration, if you want to see it. They're both a change in rate, rather, they're both the acceleration and deceleration are a change in rate of velocity over time. Both of them are, right? So they're in the same bracket, but they're in two opposing, let's just say, I don't know if vector is the right word, but let's call it vector, right? Now, when it comes to the Earth moving up at a constant velocity, I've already spoken on Nathan's with the main proponent of this. I'm not going to name any names in this, it doesn't matter to me.
Dell.
And that person admitted that the fact that the Earth is being claimed to move up at a constant velocity nullifies all density differential effects and nullifies weight, obviously, because you can't have weight without density effects. Density over volume equals weight. The density of matter in the volume.
We know that, right?
What? Wait a minute.
Right? But when it comes to liquids and solids, density over volume.
You know that, right? Density over volume is what?
I was unaware of that fact up until the present time.
So how do you determine
weight is density over volume, did he say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got that a little bit.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is volume?
Buggered up.
What is density?
It's mass per unit volume.
Yeah,
so it's already mass over volume.
Right.
And then weight is mass over volume over volume.
Yeah.
Does not compute.
Equals weight, right?
Mind you, this is Brian's logic, so of course it doesn't.
That means there is no density, like admittedly, by this person, there is no density differential effects and there is no weight. Now, even though part of this whole claim is that there needs to be an upward moving out for a density gradient to be created. Now, obviously, that's not correct. I've already shown that in a video in the past. I've done a whole presentation on it. I'll leave it in the description here. What creates our gas density gradient, right? It's created by the sun. But if people want to believe that creates a density gradient, then how can density differentials be thrown out? But a claim of a density gradient,
Lots of reasons that can be thrown out, but
you can't throw it out and then keep it. You can't push it away and deny it, but also need it for your claim. It doesn't work, right? That doesn't work. So when I asked, right, when it was admitted that there is no density differential effects and there is no weight within the paradigm of an Earth moving up at a constant velocity, I said, then why does a helium balloon go up? Or I asked, does a helium balloon go up because the air on it that is being pushed up by the upward moving Earth, does that cause the helium balloon to go up, right? So here in purple we have the helium, right? This is a helium balloon. Here we have an air-filled balloon over here, and this is a stone. They're all of equal volume, right? Now, obviously, in the real world, they're of different densities, right? But they're all of equal volume. Now, in the helium balloon here, we have air pushing up underneath it, right? And because air pushes up underneath it, it's claimed that that's the reason why the helium balloon goes up. Sorry, this won't go for me. But it's claimed that that's the reason why the helium balloon will go up. So when you leave go of a helium balloon, it'll go up, right? Because now, within this paradigm, as I said, it's been admitted that by this person who's claiming a constant upward velocity of the Earth, that there is no weight. So if that will happen with a helium balloon, then if I leave go of an air-filled balloon, then the same thing should happen. The air-filled balloon, when I leave go of a helium balloon and an air-filled balloon simultaneously, they should both go up. But that doesn't happen. The air-filled balloon has a greater density and it goes down. It goes down slow, but it goes down. Whereas the helium balloon goes up. So if the claim concerning a helium balloon was correct, and the air being pushed up by an upward moving Earth at a constant velocity was causing the helium balloon to go up, then the same would have to happen with the air-filled balloon, because weight does not exist, remember. There is no density differential effects and there is no weight. Anything down is only an apparent down. So down does not exist. Nothing is actually falling. It only appears to be falling. It's apparent. And this is exactly what Einstein was trying to say when he first started.
Apparently falling.
It just appears to be falling, but it's not actually falling. What is it doing?
The Earth, right? The Earth is coming up to meet it, right? Right? That's what Einstein was claiming. The Earth is coming up to meet it.
I might be too sober for this.
Now it's a bit more tricky with Einstein because he had to try and eventually make it match a globe, which really got convoluted. But the point is that was the claim. So it's
Einstein never said.
From your point of view, your phone is falling.
That was not a
what's really
claim.
happening
My
is the
God.
Earth is coming up to meet it because the Earth is moving up upwards, whether it be at a constant velocity or at a constant acceleration. It's still rising up, right? Fair enough. But as I said, if that was the case, and the reason for a helium balloon going up is because the air is pushing the helium balloon up because it's being pushed up by an upward moving Earth, right? Then why is an air-filled balloon not going up? Why does that go down? That can't go down if the helium balloon is going up, can it? They can't if there's no weight. Weight doesn't exist, so there's no reason for the air-filled balloon to go down, right? So that is instantly a problem because it doesn't. You can't have that. So I asked the second question, right? Now I didn't get an answer to that first question because what the answer I got was density, but density differentials don't exist within that paradigm. The person had just admitted to me. So then they contradicted themselves by trying to claim density. Because you can't deny something and then claim it. You can't deny something as part of your paradigm and then claim it to try and prove something within your paradigm. You can't do that. So that was a contradiction that wasn't addressed. So I moved on to the second, my second question, which was, if I have a helium-filled balloon, right, and a stone, right, and I leave both of them go at the same time, then how come the stone goes down faster? And the answer to that was the stone is decelerating. So let's just say, right, now this is a ridiculous thing to claim, because let's just say the Earth is moving up at, let's just say 1,000 miles an hour, right? Let's just say. Then if you're holding a stone, you're moving up at 1,000 miles an hour. The stone is moving up at 1,000 miles an hour. You leave go of the helium balloon at the stone and the stone at the same time. The helium balloon supposedly, now technically the helium balloon shouldn't even rise. It should just stay where it is. If the air is pushing it up at the same rate as the air is being pushed up. But the helium balloon actually rises and keeps going up. And then it expands and breaks when it gets up high enough. So how is that explained? Right? It's not. It's explained in reality, but it's not explained in this nonsense. But the stone goes down. So the stone is not going at 1,000 miles per hour anymore. It's now decelerating. But the problem with that is a deceleration, just going at the, right? So a decrease in speed as the body moves away from the starting point, deceleration formula, right, is defined as deceleration, right? Deceleration is the opposite of acceleration, right? So the word acceleration is used to describe motion which changes. It is common to use acceleration to mean speeding up and the word deceleration to mean slowing down, right? I don't think I need to go any further here. Deceleration is a special case of acceleration whereby it only applies to objects slowing down. So that means that if you're claiming, if you're involved in this and you're claiming that the stone is decelerating, right, when you leave it and the helium balloon go, right, then that means that the stone has to be going down, right, because it's not actually going down, remember, it's slowing down, right, it's not going at 1,000 miles per hour anymore, right, because you've left it go. So technically, if you're saying it's decelerating, it's slowing down. So the helium balloon, then under that paradigm, must rise faster than the stone falls, right? Because the stone is decelerating, whereas from 1,000 miles per hour, whereas the helium balloon is still moving at 1,000 miles per hour. So that means the helium balloon, in reality, would have to go up faster than the stone falls down, or appears to go down. But that's not what happens in reality. In reality, the stone falls much faster than the helium balloon goes up, which is all, and that is the reason why they're seeing what they're seeing in their bottles with the cork or with the air bubble. They're not understanding this, right? I'll bring that in at the end, right? So this is a ridiculous answer because it means that in reality we'd have to see the stone go stone. You drop on a stone and leave go of a helium balloon at the exact same time, and the stone takes longer to reach the ground than the helium balloon does to reach the ceiling. It's ridiculous, right? But that's what it would mean. That is the implications of this. So that ends that claim straight away anyway. of an Earth moving up at a constant velocity, right? But then we have this other claim from this other camp who are claiming that Earth is moving up at a constant acceleration, right? So what would that mean, right? So acceleration definition, right? Acceleration, rate at which velocity changes with time in terms of both speed and direction. Acceleration is a vector quantity that is defined as the rate at which an object changes its velocity. So acceleration is seen as an increase in speed, right? Now, if you're claiming a constant acceleration, then you would have to be a situation where the Earth is moving up at a constantly increasing speed. That's what it would have to be. Or a constantly increasing, decreasing, whichever way you want to go. The main thing is that if you were to see this stone doesn't have a weight, right? Now, I'm going to get to that in a moment, but this stone doesn't have weight because there is nothing going down, right? And just 1 second, I'm just going to show definition for weight. Right? Weight, a body's relative mass or the quantity of matter contained by it, giving rise to a downward force. The heaviness of a person or thing, downward force, right? So that's weight, right? So this stone here doesn't have any weight.
Yeah, defined that.
Okay?
Didn't have gravity
so
in it.
Technically, I don't have any weight. The stone hasn't got any weight. The person claiming this doesn't have any weight. So anything we place onto a weighing scales must weigh the same at that exact moment. And anything we place on a weighing scales today, right, has to show a different reading next week, right? You would think, because that's the implications of it, because the stone that you place on the weighing scales today is being affected by an upward and a constantly accelerating upward moving out. But next week it's accelerating at a different rate. So the stone, you would think, would have a different weight on the scales. But no, right? Because the stone would have to have weight.
How did the acceleration change?
Yeah. I don't think he gets it.
No. No.
To have weight to even register anything on the scales. So all that can ever be registered is whatever the upward moving out is doing. The stone, whatever the stone is, means nothing. So the stone and me and the person claiming this and a car and everything else must show the exact same reading on a scales, right, at that exact time, at all times. So the only force is the upward moving out at an accelerated rate. That's the only force. There is no anything has happened. Weight is not going, nothing is going down. There is no down, that's just apparent. So the only force on the scales, the only pressure is from below. But the problem is, if you don't have any weight, and the stone doesn't have any weight, and the person claiming this doesn't have any weight, then how is there anything to push against? Because the scales needs two things. It needs the weight of a person or object or whatever, liquid, right, down the way against something that is either moving up or is staying constant. Now we have a situation in reality where we have the ground staying constant. Right? It is unmoving, unchanging, solid. So you have a situation where you're on a scales, you are standing on a scales, and the scales pushes down, but it's pushing down against something that won't go down. It's solid ground. So you weigh yourself on a stone floor, and the scales won't push down because the stone floor won't allow it. It's constant. Whereas, so the only way
They do push down, you idiot. Jesus fucking Christ.
Work that one out.
What the registering on that scales is the amount of pressure your body is putting us downwardly on the scales. That's all you're registering. Now, if someone else stands on the scales who's a different size than you, then like the person claiming this, then they will have a different weight, because the only thing that's being registered is their weight, the amount of downward force that their body is impacting on the scales. So you can't have a situation where everyone and everything was the same, based off of the only thing that's causing weight would be the acceleration rate of an upward moving out. Right, things in reality don't, they be different.
So what?
Now, when I brought this subject up with this person,
did you follow that one?
The acceleration weight?
Yeah, the acceleration rate, as opposed to the non-decelerating rate.
Back up and play that one more time.
Oh, go a couple. We got about 15, 20 seconds.
Impacting on the scales. So you can't have a situation where everyone and everything was the same, based off of the only thing that's causing weight would be the acceleration rate of an upward moving out. Right, things in reality don't, they weigh different. Now, when I brought this subject up with this person, who I am friends with, but I still have to bring up the subject because the truth is the truth, they said, no, something like a stone or me or them will have different inertia, right? But inertia is created by weight, right? You can't have inertia without weight. This is the problem.
No,
I'm confused.
I just go to here.
Oh boy.
Okay. Inertia definition. So weight definition first again. A body's relative mass, right, or never mind that, or the quantity of matter contained by it, giving rise to a downward force, the heaviness of a person or thing. Okay?
Well, inertia.
Tendency to do nothing or to remain unchanged.
Let me tell you one thing,
Inertia
Brian. Stop trying to learn physics out of a fucking dictionary.
Yeah.
Well, ones that he keeps changing because he doesn't want it to show the word gravity. I noticed he's used several different dictionaries. They're not all the same one.
In physics, inertia is a passive property that does not enable a body to do anything except oppose such active agents as forces or torques. Right? So, right now, does inertia increase with weight? The greater the weight, or mass, never mind that because mass is nonsense. That's inverting weight for couple of different reasons, of an object. Right? The greater the weight of an object, the more inertia it has. Heavy objects are harder to move than light ones because they have more inertia. Inertia also makes it harder to stop heavy things moving once they are moving. All things have inertia down here. All things have inertia, but only when they are at rest. Lighter objects have less inertia than heavy objects because inertia is resistance to acceleration. So that's what inertia is, right? Mass is a quantitative. It's claimed to be a quantitative measure. This is post-Einstein. Pre-Einstein, mass was given weight via force of gravity. Post-Einstein, mass is a quantitative measure of inertia, right? So if you take a liquid in chemistry, right, a liquid can be called a mole, right? A mole of a liquid or whatever, right, substance, right?
What?
Now that is a quantitative measure of the inertia of that liquid, right? But it's the weight that creates the inertia. So if you take a big,
Moles are not those little fuzzy critters digging holes in the garden. No, sir. We need to do some work on our mole, I think.
Yeah.
My
you take something, let's just say a beach ball and a rock the same size as the beach ball. They're two things exactly, a piece of stone that's it and a beach ball blown up with air in it that are exactly the same volume, right? If you take a household fan that people use in the summertime, right, and you blow it towards the beach ball will move. You do the same with the rock's not going to move because it has more inertia, because it has more weight. There's more.
My question is, does it change if you use the fan that they use in the winter rather than one that they use in the summertime?
Matter, more density over volume. So there's a perfect example of density over volume. You can't have inertia without weight. So you can claim that the reason that the stone is showing a different weight on the weighing scales than when I stand on it is because I have more inertia than the stone, or the stone has more inertia than me. Has not, right, while also claiming the earth is moving up at an accelerated rate. That's causing this apparent weight. No, you can't have that at all. Nothing has weight, so nothing can create the force down on the scales. There's only an upward situation happening, and there is no downward. When I stand on the scales, the upward accelerating earth is not registering anything from me because I don't have weight to go against it, because the scales works both ways. It needs to be pressed from the bottom. It needs to press either onto something at the bottom and press down from the top, or press from the bottom and press up against something above it. But if I have no weight, then there's nothing for it to press against. It can't press against me because I don't have weight. So it's always going to read zero, technically. That's what it's always going to read. Weighing scales wouldn't even exist because there'd be no reason for them, because we can't weigh anything. This is the problem. So if nothing can be weighed, then how is it reality? Because in reality, things do have weight. We can show weight. We can measure weight. We can stand on the scales. We can weigh things on the scales. We do it all the time. So the claim that because you have more inertia means that you would show more on the scales. No, your inertia is created by weight, right? Inertia is weight. Weight creates inertia. And even bringing mass into it, which is nonsense, is just heliocentric nonsense. The word mass, right? The English word mass, not the Latin word massa. The English word mass invokes not just it always ends up invoking weight, whether it be pre-Einstein or post-Einstein. It invokes weight. So you can't bring mass into it without invoking weight, and you can't bring inertia into it without invoking weight. It's not possible, right? And weight requires two things: a pressure from both sides. But if I don't have any weight, when the earth is pushing up against me at this accelerated rate, I stand on the scales, what's going to happen? Nothing. That's what will happen. There will be nothing happen because there is no weight. So something I have to show, and this is stupid, but I have to show it, right? Some years ago, back in 1969,
oh, you're on a roll. Keep going, buddy.
Who tried to make people believe they were on the moon.
Let's stop now.
And how they did it was they claimed that the moon had 1/6, right? The heliocentric moon, right, had only the 1/6 of the gravitational attraction that the globe Earth has, right? And that means that the astronauts that were claimed to be on the moon were walking around in 1/6 their weight, including all the gear they had on their backs, right? This is the claim. And this is what they show. Now, this is bad footage because it's old and it's you can see.
No,
that
it's
the
because you're
astronauts
going
are
to pick the
actually
worst
see-through.
footage you
Really
can
bad,
find.
right? That's another thing, but
Yeah.
that doesn't matter now. But the fact is, they're trying to show astronauts moving around as if they're in a situation where they're only 1/6 the weight they are in reality. This is what they're trying to show. Whereas the upward moving Earth, whether it be at a constant velocity or a constant acceleration, is going to have zero weight. So weight does not come into it whatsoever. So it would be worse than this. At least they have 1/6 weight, or claim to have 1/6 weight within this footage. Whereas in reality, within the paradigm that's been claimed with this upward moving Earth, weight doesn't exist at all because there is no downward force. Weight can't exist. There is no weight. There's only an upward situation. Nothing is going down. It's only apparent. So there can't be weight. So if you look at this and remember the upward moving Earth has to be more. The outcome would have to be. I mean, magnitude's even more ridiculous than this. So we're going to show a few seconds because I don't know how NASA will be about this. Right. So as you can see, right. I know it's bad footage, but there's a person jumping around. We don't do that normally. There's another person coming in, and they're moving in a really weird way. Nobody moves around.
Pick such horrible
remember,
footage?
they have a backpack on them and all this. Look, they're jumping around, and that's supposed to be because they have 1/6, only 1/6 the weight they normally have.
Where are they jumping
when they're
around?
on Earth? Right, that's what they're showing. So I would have showed other stuff from the ISS and that, but that's not as relevant because this is showing a physical surface.
He could have shown
that
eclipse
people
on
are
the
being
moon.
claimed,
But
and all this footage
Yeah,
is really
that's
bad.
really bad one.
I've seen better. And people are being claimed to be moving around with only 1/6 their body weight, right? So every little jump is a hop. So consequently, if you had a big fan, right, and you blew that fan towards any of these people here, right, within this
Nothing
scenario,
can happen.
what would
There's no
happen?
atmosphere.
You'd blow them back, right? Now that same fan will just cool you down in reality because you're weight, but they're claiming to have 1/6 the weight, so they won't be able to withstand. So a fan, let's say just an industrial fan, to these guys in this
fan
crazy
in the
scenario
vacuum
here
of space.
would be like a
No
hurricane.
concept of
So
what
if you have
inertia
no
is.
weight,
No.
then
None.
what's a breeze going to do? What will a
Their
breeze
inertia
do?
hasn't
Breeze
changed, Brian.
people
No.
up into the sky by a light breeze.
That's
'Cause you
exactly
don't
what
have
it
any
was on
breeze.
the Earth.
There's
you
no
dumbass.
reason for you to resist acceleration. You don't have weight, so you can't resist acceleration. The resistance of acceleration requires weight. If you don't have weight, you can't resist acceleration. That's the end of that. Now, it's stupid that I have to use Apollo 11 moonwalk footage to show how ridiculous this claim is for people to get their heads screwed on. Like I said months ago, right? That means there is no weight. There is no weight.
Could have picked
That is the
something
end
from
of that.
a bit further.
There's no
Apollo
point in trying to
15 or
argue
something.
anything else. Weight doesn't exist. So this is the ridiculous outcome of it. I'm sorry. It's a ridiculous claim. I don't know why people are drawn in by this nonsense. Why people don't use a little bit of
Well,
logic.
the flat Earth is...
Why I have to use bloody Apollo 11 moonwalk footage. You know, why do I have to do all this? You know, because people are too busy trying to push some stupid claim they have because of effects that they induce that they don't understand. Why do me or anyone else have to do this? Just use a bit of logical thought. What you're thinking about the implications is impossible.
You
in
don't.
reality.
You don't have
In
to
the
do
story.
it, Brian.
So
you could get
why?
back in the stock
Right.
room and sweep the floor like the
Let's
boss
just
told
go
you and
over
shut
this.
the fuck up.
So in reality, they have this bottle, right, that they drop, right, and it has a cork in it. They turn it upside down, has a cork in it or an air bubble, whatever, and they drop it, right. Now, whatever is causing this, right, it's not an upward moving Earth, as I just showed. None of those things can happen, right, because weight doesn't exist. Density differential effects don't exist. None of those things exist. Density differential effects.
So
is
what
two
is it then,
vectors,
Brian?
Up
What is it?
and
What
down.
causes it?
You can't have an up and an apparent down. Either you have the differential effects or you don't. And to have them, weight has to exist as well, because density creates weight. So you can't have density effects, but density not creating weight. You can't have upward density effects, but apparent density effect downward. You can't have that. So when you're dropping a bottle, we turn a bottle upside down and there's a cork in it, and you drop it, right? and you show it in slow motion, people are seeing several seconds of this bottle falling and the cork not going up, right? But in reality, it's just like a half a second, bang, bottle hits the ground. So how long does it take the cork to rise through the water, right, or the air bubble to rise through the water? And is that in alignment with the rate that the bottle of water drops through the air? Because if it's not, if the bottle of water is dropping through the air faster than the cork is rising through the water, or the air bubble is rising through the water, then that would be the first place I'd be starting with. But the last place I'd end up at, right, would definitely be an upward moving earth, because that is a ridiculous claim that is so easily debunked if the people pushing this would just have a little bit of thought. And one of them, right, definitely has proven that she can use logic. She's definitely a smart girl. Why do you not see this?
Oh, we know who he's talking about.
You're wrong. I'm sorry. You're all wrong, right? And people like me shouldn't have to do this. Shouldn't have to make videos like this. I don't want to spend half an hour talking on a video about something that a little bit of logic thought would sort of.
Somebody held a gun to your head.
I'm not
going to
go on any further. There's no need to. I think it's pretty obvious that in a situation where weight can't exist, then reality can't exist either. End of story. Stop. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, this is going to be a pretty different video from what.
Yeah, it's going to be different. I'm not going to play it. Oh, should we put PhD Tony to the test? See if he can do Paul's hard quiz while watching chess at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Why, of course.
Yes, I think that sounds like a good idea.
We should really invite him in here to do it live with us in the stream.
We could do that. Would you like to come in, PhD?
Why haven't we? Yeah.
I can send him a link. I'll send him a link anyway. He can make his own decision up. Oh, where are you? I need your link. Copy link. I'll find you on Discord and send him a link that way.
That was just scary. Brian's whatever Brian was saying, I didn't really follow it. And of course, I guess he doesn't. I guess he doesn't realise that practically there's no difference between Earth moving at a constant velocity upwards and Earth being stationary, does he?
No, of course not.
You know, because zero is a perfectly valid number for the velocity of the Earth moving.
Still a constant velocity, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I mean, it could be plus 0.99 c, it could be 0, it could be minus 0.99 c. Earth being but the point of view of a person on the Earth, it's all the same. Because 0 is a perfectly valid number for the.
Somebody needs to mute their live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yes. You got it. You got it now, Tony.
Tony, do you want to change? You happy with your name before?
Yeah, just a second. I need to.
Yep.
Just need to find where you guys are.
Over here.
It's all the same.
You're trying to find the YouTube where we're playing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the YouTube. Okay. That's the Zoom meeting.
You're on a flat Earth. No, Emball, he's not on a flat Earth. Technical difficulties. PhD Tony will sort it out.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. It's fine. Paul, I think, will be getting his quiz together.
I have. I've got it ready to go.
Ready to go. Let me put sharing up while we're waiting.
Yes.
There you go. whenever you're ready. I'm just waiting for our friend.
All right, so we'll wait for Tony to get himself organised.
I'm sure the people don't mind. Hang on, sorry, the people out there can't see that. Give me a second. I'll make it so that they can.
Oh, okay.
I switched it off so the name wasn't going.
When you're ready to go.
Yeah, Tony is still muted. So, he's nicked off. He's gone away. We'll give him a minute. See if he comes back.
There's no rush.
It's no rush.
No rush. No rush.
No rush.
They say. Oh, you prefer the test card, Turing? Oh, okay, we'll go back then. Yeah, they can have it in here, and I'll leave the test card out there. Does that sound fair? Yes. Could be worse.
I just wish that Zoom didn't chop the animation up quite so badly for me.
Yeah, it does here too.
It's fine.
Right.
Here.
Not that I'm complaining, Paul, but it would be better if the bouncy was less
Robotic.
yes. If the bouncy was less lumpy.
I'll make a special effort not to find lumpy ones next time.
Enhances the bounce.
Well, yeah, want some not so lumpy ones. They're so the one in the black top down the bottom there is obviously she's considering that she needs improving. I think
I don't know.
Quite sure what she's trying to show.
I don't get it.
Is Tony ready to go or not?
I don't know.
I am.
He is.
You
You
are?
ready? You are?
Okay.
I can hear you. Okay. So, whenever you're ready, Paul, go for it.
Righto. Here we go then. Question 1. It's not a unit, but this objective partially names a method of solving for a truss mid-span deflection, where all applied loads are removed before a dummy load is applied down at mid-span. So I'm after an adjective here.
It's not unit, but adjective names the method of solving the trusses midspan. Like central of gravity type thing.
Yeah, it's not infinitesimal, but the delta operator denotes displacements named for this adjective, consistent with boundary conditions. What adjective am I using?
But the delta operator does.
Small?
Not small, no. The aforementioned truss solving method uses the principle of work described with this adjective, which was extended to dynamical systems by D'Alembert's principle. What adjective? But you had the 3 hard clues now. So, okay. Since they have negative focal length, a diverging lens always produces images described of this type, which cannot be projected.
Virtual.
Virtual is indeed the correct answer. And your other clues are, name this adjective that describes images contrasted with real images. It is indeed. Virtual.
Virtual
is the word.
Clive got it out there too.
Yep, good. Yep. Well done, Clive. All right, question 2. Substituting this law into the expression for work done by a particle in a betatron is used to derive the betatron condition. What law? Right.
No.
This law emerges when setting the first index of the field strength tensor to 1, 2, or 3.
G'day, everyone. I don't know.
Oh, this law can be derived by taking a closed line integral of the Lorentz force. It's the Lorentz force law. No. What's it called? Second law of thermodynamics. No. A phenomenon predicted by this law is minimized by laminating the core of a transformer.
Lenz's law?
Not Lenz's law, no.
Oh, geez.
You're getting close, though. This law and Ohm's law is used to calculate the muzzle velocity of a railgun. The law of Flerf-Deb. Not Ampere's law, no. Eddy currents are predicted by this law, which states the time derivative of the flux is proportional to the EMF and has a negative sign, thanks to Lenz's law.
You're at the limit of my EMF knowledge, I'm afraid.
Name this law applied to coils rotating in a magnetic field. One of Maxwell's equations, which governs electromagnetic induction.
It's okay. Is that my limit when he's just before he started saying substituting?
It's the Back to the Future law. There you go, Clive Wells.
Faraday's law.
Oh.
It is indeed Faraday's law. Yes. Faraday's law is the correct answer there. Well done, Clive. Okay.
I didn't know there was a Faraday's law.
There is.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see.
Question 3. Eigenvalues for this quantity are found by applying the operator negative h bar squared over 2 times m, all times del squared to the wave function. What is this quantity? The Lagrangian equals this quantity minus a related quantity.
Hamiltonian?
No.
Hysterias.
The work function is subtracted from the maximum value for this quantity for electrons ejected by the photoelectric emission. What is this quantity?
Subtracted from the maximum value of its.
By definition, this quantity is conserved in elastic collision, but not in an inelastic one.
Momentum?
Not momentum.
Energy.
What kind?
Kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy is the
there
one.
we go.
Yes. The sum of this quantity and 1/2 times x squared is constant for a mass on a spring. 1/2 times v squared, m times v squared, half mv squared is the formula for what energy that an object possesses due to motion. Contrasted with potential energy, it is indeed kinetic energy. Yeah. All right. The discovery of one of these particles in 1974 led to a series of rapid developments in particle physics known as the November Revolution. Name these subatomic particles made of equal numbers of quarks and antiquarks and which are contrasted with baryons. One of these particles contained the first observed charmed quark.
Mesons?
We have a meson.
They are indeed mesons.
Ooh.
Well done. Yes.
Well done, Tony.
The meson whose discovery kicked off the November Revolution was named for this Latin letter, and psi. In electromagnetism, this letter denotes current density. What is the letter?
Current
Mu?
density.
Oh no, it's
I'm
row.
going to go with
It's row. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
The letter used for current density is
Uh,
not the pi meson. No.
iota.
Clive Wells has it out there. It's the
Okay.
J. The J
Okay.
side. The J side meson.
I was going to say the bottom right hand, but that was only
Come
a
on.
guess.
Everyone knows J is current density, don't they? No.
No.
I should do.
Well, there you go.
I kind of forgot.
I think Alan should have. You go on.
Yeah.
You go on.
Yeah,
Different research.
I should have done. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Different research groups at Brookhaven and Stanford independently discovered the J-psi meson, both using these high-energy machines. A large one of these machines for hadrons
colliders,
is operated by CERN.
Particle collider.
Yeah.
Particle accelerator.
Particle accelerators are the ones. Yes, that was an easy one. Okay, question 5. The general form of a law named for this physicist combines the Biot-Savart law and Lorentz force equation into an iterated line integral.
Another law.
Yeah.
Is it Gauss?
Not Gauss, no. By analysing a discovery by Hans Ørsted, this physicist derived their namesake force law to describe how parallel current-carrying wires attract or repel each other.
Ohm?
Not Ohm. James Clerk Maxwell generalised a law named for this physicist by adding a term for the displacement current.
I want to say Faraday again.
Not Faraday.
Yeah.
That law named for this physicist relates the magnetic field along a closed path to the current enclosed by the surface.
Well, I did guess ampere. I'm guessing
Ampere is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. A unit name for this physicist is equal to 1 coulomb per second. That should have given it away. Yeah. Name this French physicist who names the SI unit of electric current. It is indeed this fellow, who is Andre-Marie Ampere. Yeah. All right. So you're hungry? Answer the following about food-derived terms in physics.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. Name this property of an elementary particle that distinguishes it either from other leptons or from other quarks. A quark can have this property changed via a W boson interaction, but not via a Z boson interaction.
It's going to be something like grilled or
Flavor or something.
Flavor
Flavor,
is indeed it. Well done, Blue.
Correct.
Yes. Flavor. Yep. Thomson proposed this atomic model in which electrons are embedded in a solid.
Plum pudding.
Yeah, I knew I wouldn't even get that one out. Yeah. Positively charged substance. This atomic model was replaced by the Rutherford model. It is indeed the plum pudding model. Yes. Right. Stephen Hawking used this food to describe what happens to an astronaut near a black hole. Spaghettification. That's the one. Yep.
Spaghetti.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. The Thiel-Sen estimator is a regression line with slope equal to this quantity for a certain set of line slopes.
No.
For a random variable x, the expectation of the absolute value of quantity x minus a is minimized when a equals this quantity for x.
The mean?
Not the mean. This quantity can be estimated in linear time with an algorithm named this quantity of this quantities.
Nope. Nothing.
Nope. This quantity is the n/2 order statistic.
Is it the mode?
It's not the mode.
Well, median?
You had to go through all three of them.
I had to go through all three of them to get there. Yeah, but...
You did, and you got there. It is the median. This quantity is the most resistant statistic because it is robust against outliers. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a box plot, the line inside the box shows this quantity. That should have given it away. This statistic for a data set equals its 50th percentile. Name this measure of centrality that serves as a common alternative to the mean and the mode. It is the median.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question 8.
Number 8.
Yeah. A poet with bad verses who was mistakenly believed to have participated in this event is killed by a mob. What event is this?
Is the attempt to blow up Parliament?
Nope.
Okay.
Before this event, a man claims he is as constant as the Northern Star.
So
Rings a
only a little
bell.
bit constant then.
A perpetrator of this event is mocked at its victim's funeral in a speech that sarcastically calls
Murder?
the perpetrator an honourable man.
Assassination?
Of who?
Julius Caesar.
It is indeed the assassination of Julius Caesar. Yes. A soothsayer dismissed as a dreamer warns of this event, which is also foreshadowed by a woman dreaming of a statue dripping blood. Yeah. A man calls for friends and countrymen to lend me your ears immediately after this event, whose central figure asks, "Et tu, Brute?"
Yes. I would have got it then.
You would have got it from that, hey, Tim, mate?
Yeah, that one. Yep.
In this event that occurred on the Ides of March and was dramatised in a Shakespeare play, it is indeed the assassination of Julius Caesar. Yeah. All right, question 9.
Fame I saw, I conquered.
The type 2 variety of these materials can levitate due to flux spinning. Name these materials, which often have to be kept near absolute zero.
Superconductors.
Superconductors.
Yeah. Hey.
Is it superconductors?
It's superconductors, yes. All right. Upon being cooled below its superconducting transition temperature, a material expels the magnetic field inside it via an effect named for this scientist. A superconductor containing no magnetic field is in this scientist's namesake state. Who?
Is that Meissner?
Meissner is indeed it. It's the
it's Lindsay.
Walter Meissner. Yeah.
Is that
The
Lindsay's
Meissner
hand?
effect, yeah. All right, part 3. In BCS theory, describes type 1 superconductors as a condensate of Cooper pairs in which pairs of electrons act as bosons and thus do not obey this law. This law states that no two fermions in a solid can have identical energy states. What law is that?
Well, is that the Pauli exclusion principle?
It is indeed the Pauli exclusion principle. Well done. All right, question 10. Arthur Robinson, the modern father of this discipline in academia, established one of its first departments at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Anthropology.
Not anthropology, no. The early Mallorcan school in this discipline innovated the creation of Portland charts using a rigid network of run lines.
Surveying.
Not surveying.
Navigation.
Not navigation. In order to catch plagiarizers, professionals in this discipline
Cartography.
would create fictional paper towns. It is indeed cartography. Put some fake towns on your map so that if anyone copies them, you know they've copied it.
Cheese making, according to Silverwolf.
Cheese making. A dictum by Alfred Korbinski claims the works created by this discipline are not the territory. The map is not the territory. Yeah. Modern critics have pointed out exaggeration of northern countries seen in common projection used in this discipline named for Gerardus Mercator. Mercator.
Yeah.
Name this discipline of making maps. It is indeed cartography.
Photography.
There you go.
Mathology.
And that was your hard quiz for today.
Thanks for that, Paul. That was
Well
good.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
That was
That was
Interesting.
Hard. It's hard. I was going to say. I do have an.
I have to say most of that leaves me cold, but there you go. That's me.
Well, I mean, we got all the answers. So
We did,
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have an
Oh,
easier.
Gleasonology. I like that. I like that Gleasonology.
Gleasonology, yes.
Yeah.
I do have an easier test, but we might do that in a little. We won't do that straight up. Oh dear, what else have I got? I could do with some more quantum brine, but I think we had enough quantum brine.
Quantum Brian.
Well,
I think the track's drying out.
oh, it's drying out there.
Well,
They
it hasn't
getting louder,
ran for
are
at least an hour, and I can hear them going around the track again. So this time they might actually be staying on the track, because earlier on they were all over the bloody shop. But they did report that whilst it was raining, they were on average 30 mile an hour slower than they usually are, and they were still hitting 180 on two wheels. I mean, yeah. The big boys are bloody quick.
Sounds entirely too fast. I have to say that I don't know who invented the term fractally wrong, but it is that it seems to me to be the sole saving grace of Brian and Lindsay is the fascination of just listening to how wrong they're just getting everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you would think the law of averages would catch up to them eventually.
Yeah. There's a principle in statistics called the law of big numbers. You would think, once the numbers get big enough, they'd be accidentally right.
Yeah, accidentally that you would think. Eventually something they would do something right, but so far their record is unblemished.
In a sense, it's remarkable just how consistent they are.
I'm sure I once heard Lindsay say something that was accidentally correct. It was a very basic fact, but I'm sure he was still accidentally correct once.
Yes, Clive was making the argument that he was undebunkable in the chat, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah, how do you debunk that?
I'm not going to watch his stuff long enough to make any attempt at debunking him.
That's the problem. There's no place to start.
Well, that's why we play bingo over the top of it. At least you pay some sort of attention to it.
I'm certain there's some maximum allowable lifetime dose of that sort of derpiness.
Well, yes, apparently, and we know the cost of it too. If you pay him, what is it, $50 or $500? $500, I think it was. He will tell you how to get that free energy, and if you pay the $3 for his Patreon account that he wants you to pay now, yes, he thinks that people
But
really.
what's completely
that
passed him
interested.
by is that if he does actually have the secret to free energy, he'd be a multi-millionaire by now.
Yeah, it is astonishing that he just seems so disconnected from reality. In a sense, it's sad. But do we know if anybody's sort of looking after him? Like, does he have somebody who goes out to actually be something for him?
We know that there is people living in the house because there was one video where the people were turning up and he realised he had to finish up quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
So
well,
he's not
I will also say that I fully endorsed Clive's interpretation of the rules earlier. If nobody gets it, then we have to start a new video with new bingo cards.
No. Get him off. Get rid of him. Go on.
No. I think if people have to. the point of the bingo cards was to reduce the possibility of a 20-minute video.
Yeah.
Could always be worse. We could be listening to Wits It.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's.
Imagine trying to do bingo cards for Witsit,
Yeah. And the worst thing is you can't put Witsit on a higher speed and play him faster, can you?
No.
Or not and retain any sort of
Coherence.
legibility or
He's
comprehensible.
already going 10 to the dozen.
No. I do have. Look, if I want to really irritate you, I do have some QNFE stuff. It's only 8 minutes though. So
QNFE.
yeah, just his voice alone is enough to annoy you.
His voice is quite bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I know this guy.
Hang on.
He's been around a while, hasn't he?
Yeah.
QNFE, I think.
So I'll play some. Here we go.
So it's a bit loud.
Yeah, he is. So sorry. Let me go do this. Let's skip the. There we go.
Let me see. What do we have here? Oh no. Not Rick again. But how did your globe model shows it's not possible? No, your globe model, idiot. So you can come up with all fancy calculations. But I've not seen any model yet. A globe model with a sun pot during the day. On
With
the
a what during the day?
latitude of
Sun
South.
path. Sun
Oh,
path.
okay.
Let me do that for
Right.
you, piece of shit.
Because we don't know where the sun travels. We haven't worked that out yet,
Yeah,
by the way.
that's another mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the sunrise azimuth here somewhere on the 52nd latitude. North. Sunrise is 5:21 and the azimuth is 49.88. And then the culmination, the azimuth is 180. And then at sunset it's 309. So we can use these 3 points and line up the sun path. I modeled up these 3 sun locations on the globe. Now let's add this sun path. Holy fuck. So this is the sun path. That clearly don't work on the globe. It might work for
Clearly,
an
yeah.
individual angle, like the sunrise, or the culmination, or the sunset. But the full path don't show anything about some retard globe spinning.
Well, it does actually, but okay.
And make the sun move through the sky.
Do that again.
What kind of bullshit is this, retard? Jeez. How does your globe spin here?
It doesn't spin there, that's
It
why.
clearly don't work. Do you saw that, piece of shit? and now get lost and don't come back. Piece of shit. I added a prime meridian on the equator to it with its own sun path for the same day as this location.
Yeah, because he thinks that's happening at the same time.
And as you can see, things become even more a mess if we add more than one location. Those ballers bring me on all kinds of ideas. Thanks for that, retards. I might do this next time and try to make sense of it. Retard ballers. Sorry people, I cannot help it, but I had to add another location to it. That's the opposite side with the sun angles. Let me remove this from the prime meridian. So as you can see, things become a mess. The data is not global data. It's for local use, not global use. Because the globe gets in trouble when you add more than one location. So, you see that, Rick? Moron. And now get lost. I love March to the Moon.
It is really kind
Is
of
it warm in
sad
It is, yeah.
that he's put this much effort into a video and it's just him babbling at a screen and giggling at his own cleverness.
You mean lack of cleverness?
Well, he clearly thinks it's cleverness.
Yeah.
But it's. Clive asks if QNF was having an interflurfine war with one of the other flirts.
No, I don't think so. I think it was someone commented on his channel of Glover. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, that's what that video was about. But it is one of the things about flirts is that they are very sort of tribal, and they do argue with one another a lot. I mean, we saw that in Brian's video.
Yeah.
That's another flirt he's arguing with.
Oh, was it? Okay. Let's see. I know he goes on to something else.
Space bus. So is that the curve of the Earth, Buzz? How much curve you film on 270 kilometer altitude? That's a lot of curve.
Oh look, I like how the Terminator line was just appearing there as well. Buggering up the visible curve.
Yes.
I place an object at 270 kilometer altitude. So now let's zoom in. So, this is what we should see on 270 kilometer altitude.
Well,
you guys added
depending
some
on your
extra
camera
curve.
lens and what settings you got.
Yeah.
This is for my model.
Even in your model,
Let's
you can
remove
change that camera setting.
Yeah, it's one of the things I refuse to
match
take
it up.
into account.
Yeah.
Only when I reduce the size. with like 28 degrees.
Focal length and all sorts of stuff he hasn't. No concept.
So almost 30% smaller would not be a reality for the Globers. Oh, you Globe Dots love rocket so much that you don't mind the globe become like 7,500 miles smaller. Fake ass pieces of shit.
The flight we were oriented. Well, I'll dictate about that. I don't know who did that.
There you go. As I told you, I wonder his voice is annoying just in itself.
Yes.
Timbo.
Yeah.
Sarcastic Barman did a video yesterday, Russian vids, or as he calls himself, They Live Truth, was doing, he was having a go at QMV and Jake the Arsehole, and basically telling both of them that their model was wrong, whilst his model was wrong as well.
What were you trying to say,
Timbo.
Blue? Yeah?
Timbo.
Yes. Yes, Blue. Can you hear me?
Don't ever do that again.
Oh, dear.
You don't like that one? Oh dear, I could see if I can top that.
No, you're right.
All right. Oh, okay. I could put an Iron Horse. At least he doesn't have, Iron Horse doesn't have an annoying voice. He just is just annoying.
Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, as he was known.
Yes, as he used to be known.
He doesn't go by that. Now he seems like he's...
And he hasn't changed.
He's mostly either drunk or something or other. Go on.
Farmers, were you here the day that day we had that 6-hour conversation with him? When it was Terry doing the streams.
I don't think so, because I'm sure I'd remember it, unless, of course, my brain has just taken an act of self-defense and gone, no, didn't happen, you can't remember it, you're fine, crack on. Because I don't remember it, but I could have been there.
When he was coming up with these ideas for perpetual motion.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah, I might have been
free energy.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but
you were there, weren't you, Paul?
Yeah.
I think I might have been, but it's been pretty much deleted. I think it's been overwritten, shall we say?
Yes.
I'm surprised that he lasted that long without going into one of his unsolicited expressions of racial hatred, which he seems fairly liberal with.
Well, a lot of them are, to be honest.
Yeah. He's sort of living out in the country somewhere now, and often these videos are just pictures of sunrises and sunsets. But he had that good one a few weeks ago with the sink, and why does the spoon float? And
oh yes,
yes,
yes. God, gee.
Couldn't comprehend.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it floats when it's in the saucepan, but when you take the water out of the saucepan, it stops floating.
Yeah. Oh dear.
It was funny. Talking about flat earthers going crooked other flat earthers, I do have a Leo going crooked Mark Sargent. How long's that one?
Leo going crooked Mark Sargent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or what?
That'd be worth listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put that one on. Where's that?
This wouldn't be Mark Sargent. If you give me this, then I'll not be a flat earther. Nonsense.
No, it's titled. It is titled the Mark Sargent Charade. So.
No.
Yep. You go.
Today I'm going to look at the Mark Sargent charade. Sorry, it is a charade. You should have become wise to this silliness by now. If you haven't, I'm just going to show you why you should have, okay? Mark's been on the scene, if you want to call it that, for a long time. I first became aware of him in his early days, where I heard him on a radio show, where people were ringing in and bigging him up big time. Literally, it was like, wow, man, I can't believe I'm speaking to Mark Sargent, man. Wow. And immediately,
Truly, you are a
bit,
master of accents, Leo.
I thought I'd check this guy's work out. So I checked it out, and sure enough, Mark's got a great voice. But the problem was Mark was mixing good information with silly information, pushing of maps and models, and his own ideas of what he thought the flat earth was. And as a result of that, Mark got pushed in the algorithms and made plenty of very, very bad appearances on television. And because of those terrible performances, it was highlighted to Mark time and time again. Stop pushing maps and models. Stand by demonstrable science that have been tested and verified by all. And you'll absolutely annihilate the globe Earth with a simplistic approach. Mark chose not to do that, continued to push silliness and make himself and help promote the loaded term that is now flat earth through his promotions and ideologies of what he thought the flat earth was.
He is cheering.
You've only got to look at Mark's most recent video here to see that nothing has changed. On the left, we've got some geezer in a suit putting his hand up to the globe earth. No, 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 no. And then on the right, the very same fella is pointing and giving a thumbs up to a piece of flat earth, one that's residing on the back of a turtle. The video is called Nothing
and
Compares
elephants.
to Flat Earth.
That's a
Why?
tortoise.
He's forgot the elephants.
After all this time,
If you've got the elephants, then that's a tortoise,
particularly
not a
given the
turtle.
fact Mark has
Yes.
been told time and time again about misrepresenting simple demonstrable truths, why oh why is he continuing to push tosh like this? Flat earths residing on turtles' backs. Why?
Where is the flat earth then,
If you
Leo?
flick through Mark's video, it's 2 hours of the usual
And is it
tosh.
turtles all
Mark
the way down?
talking, memes,
Of
good
course, yes.
information, and then tosh blended in to muddy the waters and misrepresent and help load the term that
It
is
is the
flat
great
earth with a lot of the
Tatooine.
tosh that Mark has put out there through his terrible
Turtle
performances
moves.
on television.
Yes.
Well, then maybe
Trying to
Leo
flat
could tell us
earth
what the
into
flat Earth
YouTube.
actually
We know
is.
it's incredibly
No,
sensitive,
he
right?
he
We scroll down.
he just promised earlier in his video not to do that. He thinks that's a globe trap if you try and describe your model or suggest anything.
Yes.
It's a trap.
But it has to be, whatever it is has to be demonstrable. So
Look who they're promoting.
Well,
we knew it anyway.
This is kind of Leo's defense against any sort of debunk. Is he says, there are 3 questions. You need to be able to answer my 3 questions. Otherwise, you have to admit that the Earth is and there are 3 things that he just doesn't accept, like choke convexity on water. And if you show him sort of a plot of sea surface height where it's obviously not flat, he'll just say, well, that's not still water. That's something else. That's he's and then the towers swaying, which you could do on a plane. You could, on a plane take a model crane, and you could do that. But apparently nobody's sort of done it to his satisfaction yet. And I forget what the third one is. Can somebody help me out with his third demonstrable science thing? Yeah.
No, I can't.
Peanuts.
peanuts, any peanuts? No, that we'll bring it up later. We'll keep going and see what else he has to say about Mr. Sargent.
Good Davy boy promoting his silly videos. Oh dear. And just the same usual tosh. But look who pops up almost immediately? Look,
That's 5 years ago.
I'm surprised we're not getting inundated like we usually do with his ridiculous TV performances like the ones he had over here in England, in Britain, on Breakfast TV, where he made himself and anyone who chooses to use the words flat earth look ridiculous. In fact, let's just pop into this convention video.
I don't think he did it, personally.
For centuries, a flat earth was accepted as certainty until science and sailboats said otherwise.
One of the rules of power is...
It's got to pause it there. What scientific demonstration said otherwise? I'm a demonstrable realist, and based off science we can test and verify for ourselves, we can prove the globe is scientifically impossible.
Except he doesn't do any of it.
Not an opinion,
No,
demonstrable fact.
No, keep saying it, but you won't do it.
No, that's right. Lots of words, no action.
Refute that. The pinned comment is purely for scientific demonstrations which can be tested and verified by all, which prove the globe. There'll be nothing but stargazing fantasists dreaming away in there. Guarantee it. Based on science we can test and verify for ourselves, we can tell that the Earth is demonstrably level. Okay? To fill in the gaps, it's full exploration all the way. No need of promotion of maps and models, just stand by science we can test and verify for ourselves. But check Mark out.
You never admit that there's someone bigger than yourself.
But in 2015, this guy, Mark Sargent, posted his flat earth clues.
Part of a series of clues that can help you get your head around both the design of the...
Both the design? I mean, what are you showing us there? You see how Mark works on a subconscious level with his imagery and his silliness and his great tones?
flat earth system we live in.
You're kind of the, like, father of this.
Look at this guy. Great radio voice. Useless on television, insecure, uncomfortable. No wonder he's pushing ridiculous stuff. Muddy in the water as he goes.
Oh
Man, how would you?
Don't do
You're
that.
the one who sort of started it all.
I did not invent flat earth. All I did was walk up to a door, point at it, say, you know what? I think...
All you did was appear on TV numerous times, make loads of videos, make silly claims that you couldn't test and verify for yourselves, and as a result, off the back of people like yourself, Mark, you tarnish the words flat earth, and through association, through people like yourself, through the nonsensical crap you've cited, rather than practical references which can be tested and verified by all, you, Mark, are partly responsible for the mess we're in right now, because your push for absurdities, cash, and celebrity status rather than standing by practical demonstrable science which can be tested and verified by all. You could have served up a massive audience and the people in the TV studios by simply citing practical references. You chose not to do that, instead promote silliness.
Some really interesting things on the other side of this, and check it out for yourself. If flat earth is a university, FEA, then I would be the freshman recruiter.
People have traveled from around, actually, Mark would
I'll try and be nice.
say across the flat world to attend.
The first rule of Flat Club is you don't talk about Flat Club.
Until now.
What? The first rule of Flat Club is you don't talk about Flat Club. Let me just clarify, what is Flat Club then? Does that mean you talk absurd crap on television, but you don't talk about Flat Club to your mates? I'm confused. Because if you're not going to talk about Flat Club, but yet then you're going to go on TV and then make your own videos where you've got pizza dishes on the back of turtles. Again, Mark, you're making yourself look rather silly, fella. Just like you did on breakfast television. Now, the big question is here, before we go. Is this on purpose with Mark, or is he just a deluded fantasist? Bearing in mind, the man has been told time and time again to stand by practical references which can be tested and verified by all. He's ignored that and chooses to still push maps and models and theories and ideas which make him and anyone that chooses to use the words flat earth now, because they've been tarnished by people like Mark. Doesn't look good, does it? Really? I'm trying to be nice and not really be too harsh. But Mark came to my comment section a few years back, and he made an absolute fool of himself as well. He really did.
Not that he's holding a grudge.
It's difficult
from a couple
to
of
be
years ago.
nice to someone who's been so bad with regards to this subject, you know. But I think I did a fairly good job.
Nah.
Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that?
Just any sentence where Leo is saying "I think" should be setting up alarm bells.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a fatuous contrarian with absolutely nothing to contribute to any conversation. That's the other thing I like about flat earthers is the idea that they think, well, you didn't convince me, therefore, and they use it as some sort of ego boost. Yes, I didn't convince you because you didn't want to be convinced. Okay, well done, you.
Yes, it's like we'll present you evidence, but it doesn't agree with my opinion, so therefore it's fake or not real or not good enough or whatever. Yeah. Yes, idiot.
Those words, "you didn't convince me," tell me something about your ability to use reason and logic.
Yes. There's a Clive Wells point. Hello, Leo lied. Clive Wells says, if you wanted to isolate someone from society, putting them in a tower crane used to be a good idea.
Yeah.
They're isolated from society for 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Back in the day, it used to be the thing to put mad people on boats and send the boat down the river. And then when it arrived at the next town, they'd put their mad people in the boat and kick it down the river. I'm not exactly sure what happened when the boat got to the mouth of the sea, but apparently it used to be sort of just this that used to be the medieval approach to mental health was just sort of kick them down the road a little bit,
make them somebody else's problem. Ultimately, nobody's problem at all because they've just drifted out to sea. One way of doing it.
But in a few select instances, it still isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, it's got a lot going for it.
One wonders what the mental health statistics of coastal communities is like then.
Yeah.
It's not the boat that discovered America.
You remember back when Anthony Riley did a video about the Foucault pendulum and he got the wrong Foucault?
Yeah.
I will never forget that video.
that has to be one of the all-time classics.
Well,
I might have a recording of it somewhere.
The Foucault that he was talking about actually wrote a sort of a famous history about the treatment of the mentally ill, where that factoid comes from. So there was. So it does all tie back to flat Earth. You can see why Anthony Riley. That was just one of the most amazing things. You didn't think to check when the guy was alive, like. Michel Foucault, I think it is, who's the historian and philosopher. He was alive.
He was on his Wikipedia page, and he even did a word search to look for flat.
Yes,
I think.
Pendulum. He looked at the pendulum and didn't find it.
And at that point, he should have gone, "Oh shit, have I got the right guy?" And then he said afterwards, "Oh yeah, but I was drunk when I recorded it." No, you were just your usual incompetent self. Yeah. You found the Wikipedia page of the wrong bloke.
Yeah. Clive Wells was trying to tell me that this guy named Santos at the chess championship may not be the flat earther. I'm skeptical.
Does he have a lot of money in parking fines?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got it muted. So
Yes. Is he doing well?
well, he's gotten through to the third round. I mean, that's
No, it's not
too
Santos.
bad.
It's not Santos then.
No, not Bonacci.
Not Bonacci.
Michel Foucault was an Iron Age physicist. Yeah.
What, the Iron Age in the 1800s?
Yes. Even though it wasn't.
Bless him. He really is about as incompetent as they come, isn't he?
Yes.
I'll bet you £10,000 you get a solar eclipse every month.
Yeah.
And then his channel disappeared.
Yes. I do have an easy quiz which I've thrown together. Almost
All
a
right.
treat. It's on technology this time. So
Right. Okay.
it's all right.
It's not one. Oh, it's not one of these hard quizzes you found, is it? Oh, no. Sorry.
No.
Hard
I've actually...
quiz.
Oh, no.
In the world.
I do have one of those. We could do that as well instead. It was on it's the carpentry practice test.
I'm not competing against Blue in any carpentry test.
No. just bang some.
I saw what he did to that. I saw what he did to that carpentry apparatus. It was utterly fiendish. It was magic. That's what it was. Unnatural that anybody should be that good at carpentry.
So yes, we could do that. Well, so we won't be doing this test on, joist hangers are used to which of the following. Yes, maybe not that hard. Let's go back to this one. Okay, well, let's start. I got to admit, I don't even remember.
Turtles twisted torture test. Cool, nice alliteration.
Well, it's
Timbo. I saw in that previous test that you shut up that somebody there was as good at spelling as you are.
Yeah, aren't they? They're good. Don't you like this one?
An imperial.
Imperial ruler. The smallest marker. Well, see, it must be a millimetre because it's obviously not the others because they don't appear on an imperial ruler. So it must be a millimetre.
Has the quiz been spell checked? What do you think?
Based on the available evidence, I think the answer might be no.
Given Tim's track record, quite.
No, it might be a woke test where they think that Imperial might be triggering or culturally insensitive, so they've changed the spelling.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I was gonna increase my alliteration. That's probably more accurate. Timbo Turtle's twisted torture technology test.
You can't say.
Yeah, can't say.
Well, you left out the apostrophe, so you didn't get away with.
No. Okay. As I said, let's get going. Emperor. So I'm sure I got it up on the screen. I do. Okay. The Harvard architecture for microcontrollers added which additional bus?
The short bus.
The short bus. We've got a short bus.
Careful, Tony. I resemble that remark.
You resemble that remark. Resent. Yeah. Any ideas? Peanuts, any ideas out there?
No. I suck at technology. That's my idea.
Okay. It is the instruction bus.
All right.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. As in, yeah.
Didn't know it was a.
That was a bus?
Didn't know it was an individual bus.
Yeah. What are the base station trackers used for the HTC Vive called?
Don't even know what that is.
Don't even know
that.
Never.
I don't even know what HTC high temperature.
HTC Vive is a virtual reality headset.
It is.
Oh, Oh, those
Yes.
All right.
It is.
Can we see the question again?
It's still there. What are the
On the
base
screen?
stations on the screen? Under my video, so have a look at it.
All right.
What,
Yep.
what are the base station trackers used for the HTC Vive called? Now, you just got to think, it's I was about to say, it is a headset for a virtual reality, so...
Are there three of them, and are they called Mary, Mungo, and Midge?
Mary, Mungo, and Midge? No, they're not.
I bet
They
you haven't
are
got a clue
called
what that is,
Lighthouse. There we go.
Are they called vibrators?
Yes. Yes, they track your position by ultrasonic vibrators. Yes, that would be good. No, they're called Lighthouse. Okay, that was a bit obscure.
Nice.
The term battery to
Only if the
describe
spice
an
is
electrical storage device was coined by who?
Oh, I was reading about this just the other day.
I don't know. It's a Metallica song, so I don't know.
And it's got to do
Voltaire?
with...
Getting too old. But I.
Voltaire?
No, I don't think it was Volta. But was it actually Young?
It was Benjamin
No,
Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin. Okay.
Yeah. Named after the batteries from... well, for the same thing, the batteries for the artillery batteries. I know.
Yep.
Which company designed the Betamax video cassette format? Surely you can get this one.
Oh, God.
Sony.
Sony, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sony.
That would have been my guess with Sony.
Yeah, it is a Sony VideoMax.
We had one on trial for a fortnight. Absolutely brilliant machine. So, of course, we
there.
ended up with a VHS because you couldn't get any Betamax videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roads logic. Yeah. Because, you know, they say that porn killed the Betamax. Because all the porn came out on VHS. At least that's the...
VHS. Yeah.
That was the rumour. Which buzzword... I may not get this one. Which buzzword did Apple Inc. use to describe their removal of a headphone jack from their...
Stupid.
Yeah.
from their phone. Yes.
Although of course, Samsung went down the same route. My S21
Eventually
doesn't have a headphone jack.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Mine doesn't now. No.
I had to go out and get some wireless earbuds.
Yeah. Well, because Sony were pushing that you use the
Which are useless.
earbuds. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of earbuds myself.
I even got the Samsung earbuds, and they're useless.
I've got Samsung
I
earbuds.
got Jabra ones, and they're actually very good.
I've got Samsung earbuds, and I've lost them, and I'm not overly worried about it. So that's how useful they were.
I tend to have one in at work, and I just listen to the radio through my phone. But you only want one because otherwise you can't hear when people are talking to you and all that nonsense.
My preference at work are gone.
The girls that I sit with, they have other radio stations coming out of one of their phones very quietly, and it's all this modern teenage shit.
You mean the flat Earth? The flat Earth girls?
Yeah. Those. I mean, they're what, early 20s at the most. I mean, the crap they listen to, it's all the modern hop shite, you know. You hear a tune, you think, oh hello, oh no, somebody's used the tune and they're squeaking all over it or something, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, getting back to the buzzword. What do you think? What buzzword would Apple use? It, of course, was courage.
Oh, no, courage.
No.
Oh,
stupid.
I think Nimrod had a better answer there.
Oh, Turing test too. Got it.
He did. Yes, he did. Okay. Moving on. Allegedly, yes. Who patented a steam engine that produced continuous rotary motion?
Decima?
Decima? We have a Decima. Let's give in
Trevivic?
Trevivic. You have two answers. I'm just seeing if I get one from the Peanuts. Nothing
Well, it
coming
wasn't Thomas
my way.
then.
Wasn't Thomas. Yeah.
Bob.
It was what?
What?
That was what? I thought
What?
it was what?
What?
Who?
I thought what?
What?
When?
I think
I
I
thought
found
it
it was Elon Musk. I'm with Clive on that one.
Well, he takes credit for everything else, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so I clicked too many times. When was the Tamagotchi digital pet released? Surely you
God.
remember the Tamagotchi.
I do vaguely remember them. I think it was that must have been in the 90s, wasn't it?
1993.
Yeah, early to mid 90s. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm good.
About the time my kids wanted one.
Funny that.
Fact checking, that does check out. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. 1996.
They didn't want them before they didn't exist.
Which
Yeah.
Turing test has got
You
as
know
well.
what I mean? My kids were of about the age that when they came out, they wanted one.
Wanted them, yeah. 96. Oh, I thought it was earlier than that, but there you go.
But
I knew it was 90s.
my kids had something that looked like one, but they didn't quite know that wasn't one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Didn't actually have a real
Give them a
1996.
stone to look after.
1996, yes. Late, getting close to a little bit later in the decade. But Turing test got that one as well. Okay. In what year was the Oculus Rift revealed to the public through a Kickstarter campaign? Do you know what the Oculus Rift is? Paul will know what an Oculus Rift is.
Yeah, it's another virtual reality headset. Yeah.
It's a pretty popular one still, relatively.
2008. I don't know.
Around
2005.
2000. We get see if Turing test comes through. Give him 10 seconds. If he doesn't get it. No. Okay, it was 2012, believe it or not, which is a little bit later than you may think. But that was when the VR was really starting to hit the scene, particularly in the PC world. Okay. When was the DVD invented? And I'm sure all of
After
you...
the DVC?
I think it was invented after television as well.
You think?
Yes, and even after the video recorder.
I was going to say it was definitely invented after Betamax.
Yes, it was. Bit more successful than
Let's say
Betamax.
1993. Why not?
Google Foo. Okay. Turing test was on Google Foo, 1916, yes. Musk invented the dinosaurs. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. It was one, yes. Getting on to the... Sorry, what was your number there, Tony?
Mine was 1993.
1993. It was 1995. You're pretty close.
Ah, far up.
You went far away. Okay. When did the CD begin to appear on the consumer market?
1983.
1983.
I'm going to say about 1980.
That's mid-80s.
Mid-80s. Yeah, 83. Yeah, I'm guessing somewhere close to that. It's before I left high school, so... Let's see. It is 1982.
Oh.
1 year off. It's pretty good.
I bought my first one in 1988 and I still have it.
Do you? How much did that cost you?
Don't know, it wasn't that much. It was Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Oh, you mean the actual the player? Because I remember when the player.
Well, it's also the first. Well, it's at 18. I got some money off off grandma, and yeah, I went out and got another car. I got myself a stereo stack system that had a record player, twin tape deck, and a CD player. And it's like, oh, I need a CD to play in it then.
Oh, right, in the car.
Yeah, and Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. It's still, albeit in a big cardboard box, it's still in the collection somewhere. Still works.
Because I remember when the CD players first came out, and they were prohibitively expensive.
It was quite an expensive But it was one of these all-in-ones, you know. It was just one big cardboard box with a record player on a plastic box with a record player on the top, and then, you know, graphic equalizers and all that shit. And just don't have any of that crap anymore 'cause it's all electronic.
But when you looked at the stack from the front, let me guess, it was all designed to look like separates.
Yes.
Of course.
Because separate stack systems were horrendously expensive.
Yes. Okay, here you go. When was the iPhone released? It was after the iPod.
A lot earlier than we remember. 1999.
1953. This was before I remember anything.
No, much later than that. I would say
2000 and something, but I couldn't tell you what.
I would say 2003.
2003. It is, sorry, 2007 says no alert. It is 2007.
Oh, nice.
Who built the first laser?
Oh.
It was cursed with a high IQ, I'm sure.
No.
And did they strap it to a shark?
Oh, right.
It was Alan
I don't
Parsons.
think so. It had to be someone from Pink Floyd, surely.
No, wasn't it Alan Parsons? I thought that was
Parsons Project. Yeah.
I thought that's why they chose the name for the band.
Could have been.
What, the Alan Parsons Project?
Yes, the Alan Parsons Project, I think, is named after the. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, he was Pink Floyd's. Was he a sound engineer or something? So he worked with Pink Floyd, and that's why and then he went off and sort of did his own thing. Hence the Alan Parsons Project. Yes. Yeah, he had a few hits over it.
I have a feeling Turing Test is skigglefooing a little.
He might be.
Yes.
Okay.
Theodore Harold Mayhem. Yes. Next one. Which company developed the HoloLens?
Ooh.
Kodak.
Quite probably.
Microsoft.
Alan Whitsitt. Well, Austin Whitsitt, according to Nerd Alert. It was Microsoft, of course. Next.
I'm doing well on this quiz.
Which of the following cellular devices companies is not headquartered in Asia? Oh, hang on. I didn't pick this one up first, so let's see what comes up. Because I bet you it will give you Nokia.
The answer.
That was the only one I could think of was Nokia, to be honest.
Yeah, that was going to be the answer.
Yeah, so which it should have just been which cellular device company was not headquartered in Asia. So,
yeah.
Nokia, obviously, for obvious reasons.
But what about Apple? Because Apple is...
Yeah, but I think they have their manufacturer in Asia, right?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But so do Nokia, don't they?
Not sure that they do.
No, because I remember the city. I remember seeing something about the city that the still the factory that makes them, which is actually one of the reasons why they're not as big as the other guys. Is that they're not it's produced them quite like they are the Asian ones. Oh, I remember the BlackBerry. Mobile hardware and software company BlackBerry Limited was founded in which country?
Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
Canada. Yep. Canada is corrected. No, Canada. What round? Excuse me. Sorry. What round is a classic AK-47 chamber?
7.62 by 39 millimeter.
Yeah.
By 39 millimeters.
Yeah.
You've got to give the length as well.
You do need to give the length. Mine is only a partial answer. and Alan's is more accurate.
Yes. There you go. What is the
Mitsubishi Wakaru?
Any answers?
Well, Maru is a ship, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
I mean,
that sounds like it.
Is that a Japanese
whaling ship? Whaling ship.
I wouldn't have thought so. I wouldn't have thought
Maybe not.
Mitsubishi would put it on, but it might be a rocket. Is it a rocket? No. I'm going to go with a rocket. Whatever. All I know is that Mitsubishi is 3 diamonds, and Maru normally means a ship.
It is a robot.
Ah.
I'll have to try and find a picture of it, but yeah, it's a robot. Mitsubishi Wakaru. Okay. Out of all of the NASA space shuttles, Matt would have loved this question. Which 2 have been destroyed?
Challenger and Columbia.
Yeah.
Columbia. Yeah. It is. What is the most significant side venture the popular firearms company Remington has pursued?
Shavers, electrical shavers.
It is.
Yeah. Electrical razors.
It is. Typewriters, according to this.
Typewriters.
Remember Remington? So they obviously had a much more significance. I do remember Remington typewriters. Never used one.
Yep. Well, actually, a typewriter is a euphemism for a machine gun. Anyway.
It's Moore's law originally stated that the number of transistors on a microprocessor chip would double every
18 months.
2 years, I thought, but I could be wrong.
The original one, not what it is now. Okay. Are we only with 18 months as the lower one or that?
Well, that is the lower number.
Yes. 18 months. Well, that was a year, was the original one.
Yeah.
Although Turing Test has come up with 18 months and he's been Google fooing, so maybe 18 months is the correct
Yeah, so the quizmaster should definitely adjust his answers.
Yeah. You got that question wrong, Timbo.
Yeah. So, which of these is the name of the failed key escrow device? Excuse me. Key escrow device introduced by a national security agency in 1993.
I'm going to guess that that question should really be what is rather than
Yes, probably.
based on previous experience.
At least which is spelt correctly.
I don't know. Got no idea. The Elon. Says Clive Wells.
It is the Clipper chip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I do remember that one now.
Yes. In CSS, which of these values cannot be used with the position property? There's a
It would
programming
be helpful
question.
if I knew what CSS was.
It's a programming language.
Cascading style sheets.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Used with HTML.
Oh, I'm so good at this technology stuff. I've got it nailed.
Yes.
Once again, we need a list of things which we could choose from, which we don't have.
Which we probably will never get.
Which you probably won't get. It is center. Anyway. I didn't have a list either. The numbering system of the radix. Radix? Yeah.
Hexadecimal.
Radix.
Yeah.
Is
What?
hexadecimal.
Yeah.
What Tony said.
Hexadecimal. What is known as the brain of the computer?
CPU.
Yeah. I think that's pretty straightforward, that one. What is the main CPU? Sorry. What is the main CPU? that's written really badly. What a surprise. Which
In the Sega
is
Mega
the
Drive?
CPU in the Sega Mega Drive, Sega Genesis?
Would that be a
What CPU did they use?
6502?
6502. It is close. 6800.
68,000.
Yeah. And that is the end. There ain't no more.
Thank you very much.
Clivewell's got that last one exactly right. So there you
He
go.
did. He did. No, he didn't put Motorola. So no, I'd give you that, Clive. That's good enough. I think you got the 6800. It would have been good. Sorry. Let me put something else up on the screen. Oh no, you don't want that. Yeah. Where are you going?
I feel betrayed by Clive because I've been made to look a bit of a fool with my lack of technical expertise.
That's okay.
Look, you can't be an expert in everything.
That's true.
I mean, at least they didn't pick music.
Yeah. And we didn't have a music quiz tonight. That Clive loves the music tests. He does have one answer, though.
Fleetwood Mac.
Start tricking by the firm.
Oh, yes, he did, but he got that one wrong. When it came up, he didn't get it. What else? Well, I've got an Everett. Let's play an Everett while I get some stuff together.
Can't go wrong with an Everett.
Let's do an Everett.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Fuck! So,
what? Who was that?
Sorry.
He's in a lot of
somewhat
pain.
bad spasm.
Yeah, Alan's in a lot of pain there.
You okay, mate?
He does that.
Yeah, I'm fine now.
I thought Everett was starting with an unusual remark.
That's not the usual whatever. And I was looking to see.
Apologies for going off without getting a chance to mute myself and
no, you're right.
remove myself from camera.
I'm sorry you were in pain, but it was just it was just the moment I pushed the play button and it just came across, and I just thought
that was just a late reaction to Brian's logic.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen some pained reactions to modern music, but that's a.
Dear. Okay, let's play.
Why is flat Earth so important?
What's this thing?
It's a symbol for get out of my house!
Because the people who are trying to control us
We're gonna need some more coffee.
and orientate how we live and disfigure our past and corrupt our truths dub themselves the globalists.
Excuse me, what did you just say?
The globalists.
This is a conspiracy. That's what this is. One big damn conspiracy! And everyone's in on it!
At least, if it's not a flat plane, at least it's not a globe.
Punch yourself in the face. Punch yourself in the face. All right, he doesn't know what he's doing. You fatso, punch your baby in the face.
I did good, Meg.
Shut up.
I did good. I did good.
Your life has been a lie. Until this very moment, it has been a fucking lie.
Oh, really? That sucks.
We act and behave according to societal norms.
Gentlemen, I think I found a way to convince the jury that I'm insane.
Is that really a concern, Jeff? I think in that area we're doing pretty well.
They are all fabrications. They're all lies. They are all truths within lies and lies within truths, and therefore they are corrupt.
Yes, we are confident that the jury is going to find you insane.
Well, that's easy for you to say. I'm glad you guys are so confident. I'm not so sure.
Because you go about looking at it as in you would like to stay and remain within the physical, because you can do that, okay?
All right, let's stay focused. Our problem is, we've got 3 days to get that jury to believe I'm out of my mind.
Or you would like to get the fuck out of this prison. This harvest machine.
I think, you know what? Give me angry. Will you give me angry? You've had a bad day. You're cranky.
Now we've gotten to a point where the ferocity inside of us and our spirit is becoming untamed.
Good. Ooh, angrier. Ooh, you're scaring me.
And the more of us that become privy to this, the more of us that understand the intricacy of the network that is deception.
Okay, here's my plan. I go in there Monday, then I start talking to myself in imaginary language like De Niro did in that sitcom, Taxi.
That has intertwined itself around our existences and absorbed us and consumed us and entrapped us.
You talking to me? You talking to me? What's the matter with you? You talking to me? You talking to me? Hey, who you talking to? Me?
Then you need to do some serious soul searching and deconstruction of the things that you have learned, because everything you have learned has been a fucking lie.
On the way back to the holding area, I let out a little bark and a yell like this.
And that starts with Flat Earth.
You know how you really convince people that you're insane, don't you? You put your underpants on your head and you shove 2 pencils up your nose and you say, "Wibble."
Wibble. It's well known. Yes.
Well known. Established fact.
I actually had a senior NCO when I was in the Air Force who picked up the phone and literally picked up the phone, said "Wibble" and hung up to the most senior officer on duty on the station at the time. Oh, and he had also pushed a couple of pencils up his nostrils.
Just for the fun of it.
Good man.
Was this before or after Black Rat started that trend?
After.
Okay.
The best bit was we were able to prove that there was nobody in the control room to answer the telephone at the point when the phone rang.
Well, there you go. So it was a ghost.
It was a ghost, indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had to. Whoa. We're going on to this, are we?
No, you're okay.
Practice.
No, I was gonna. We're gonna let Blue judge us. But anyway,
Okay.
keep going what you were saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
Well, I was just that guy talking so earnestly into his camera, driving around and sort of putting so much passion into it, and you just go, it's completely misguided. Yeah, I just feel a little sad for him. But...
Yeah, well, Everett seems to find a lot of them. He's must spend a lot of time trolling TikTok and finding these guys. There's a lot of them. It's probably a sad bit. Well, we could either do a carpentry test, or I've got who was it? Earth is Life, is that him? That's the guy, I think. No, I Can Science That. That was him. Where'd he go? I Can Science That can tell us about can we trust compression. So we can have a bit of sensible.
When you say compression, I'm betting you're not talking about anything that we would consider to be compression, would you?
I'm talking about visual compression, I would say.
It depends what you're compressing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Something that doesn't really exist.
Well, you want to see what he has to say about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do that. Let's do it.
Want is a very loaded
Want to?
Promise
He's
not
on
to
it.
physically assault you if you show it to me. How about that?
He's on our side, so let's see where we go. Yeah. He's usually pretty good.
Welcome to Icon Science Stat. Today I want to discuss the curve of the horizon. In the previous videos, we saw examples of curved horizon. But in order to really see that curve, we compressed the images side to side. Is it really fair? Can we trust the effect we get by doing that compression? Images like this one are very unwelcome to anyone who insists that the Earth is not round. And naturally, that leads to numerous ad hoc excuses for why the image is round when the Earth is not. So rather than dismissing the image at the earliest convenient excuse, let's investigate some of these claims and see if any of them have merit. I think the first thing we should investigate is whether the curve was somehow created by the process of compressing the image. We hear this all the time, and let's just try it and see if that's true or not. Let's start by just creating a nice straight line across the image, and I'll do a perfectly horizontal line. Oops, using the rectangle tool. And we will fill with the fuchsia color. And while I'm in here, I think I will also create a curve shape. Let's do a little bit of a very slightly curved, get a little bit, a slightly curved shape. There we go, and we'll fill that also with the fuchsia. And 10:1 in the width only. And now we'll see that the straight line remains perfectly straight, but the curve that I had made, what was a slight curve, has become much more curved. Horizontal compression does not introduce curvature, it maybe accentuates curvature. It can bring out any curvature that was already there in the image, but will not create the curvature itself. The next complaint you often hear is that the image is not perfectly horizontal. The camera must have been tilted a little bit side to side in order to cause this. Let's put a rectangle across the image for comparison. That's a perfect rectangle, and you can see the horizon is tilted, and that proves what? Nothing. It proves that the camera was not perfectly horizontal. Does that matter? Maybe a diagonal line becomes curved when we compress it. All right, let's give it a try. All right, let's make a diagonal line. Diagonal line. Let's make a slightly shallower diagonal line. More like what we might have seen in those images. And just for completeness, let's make one going the other way. All right, let's compress this image and see if maybe those diagonal lines became curved because of the compression. Okay, are those lines curved or are they straight? We'll zoom in. I don't know, they look pretty straight still. How can we be sure? We can be sure if we draw another line right alongside them, and then we can compare, right? So let's put a line from there to there. Let's compare. Has the pink line become curved because we compressed it? No. The green line and the pink line are pixel perfect, straight side by side. Let's do this one. Perfectly straight. Okay, how about this more extreme diagonal? Let's see here. Perfectly straight. So the act of compressing side to side does not create curves out of diagonal lines. Next up, I've had numerous complaints that these lines are not straight. Why are my lines not straight? They are stair-stepped. All right, let me zoom in even more. This line is not perfectly straight. It's going up like a staircase. Well, that's because this is a digital image, and digital images are made out of square pixels. It's a grid of square pixels. You can only have colors on these little squares. You can't like cut a square in half to try and go across a square. So the best we can do in order to make a diagonal line like this on a digital image is to do a stair-stepping type of effect like this. So that is what a straight line looks like when it's diagonal. Let me remind you, the difference between horizontal and straight. This is a straight. I think we can agree the ruler is straight even though I'm holding it at a diagonal line, right? So that's still straight even though it's at an angle, right? So we can now not worry about whether maybe the camera was tilted just a slight amount to the side. That's not going to create an artificial curve that is not there. We don't have to worry about whether maybe tilting it on the side and then compressing the image caused it to create a curve. That does not create a curve. And finally, the act of compressing itself does not create a curve. But wait, you say, wait, I've seen photographs of the countertop that prove that when you compress the image, that the curve is introduced. And yeah, I've seen that too. And in fact, I've done that with my own countertop. Let's take a look at my countertop. I went into my kitchen and I took a photo of the edge of my counter to explore just how much curvature are we going to get in the countertop when we do this exact same thing. Okay, let's do it. Image, compressing in the horizontal. And let's take a look here. Wait a minute. My countertop is curved. Let's take a closer look. I want to add a line for reference onto the countertop so that we can get a pixel perfect comparison here. Oh, I want a 1 pixel line. Let's go there. Okay, so there's a pixel perfect line, and we'll scale to 1/10. Now let's take a look here. And sure enough, the countertop appears curved when compressed side to side. So what are we to think? The software didn't create the curvature. We already showed that. Could the camera perhaps have a defect? Maybe the camera, the lens has a defect and is causing this curvature. That's a possibility. Or let me offer you, there's one other perhaps more obvious possibility, and that is the countertop is curved. I took this ruler and I placed it edge on the countertop, and look what I discovered. The countertop is in fact curved. You can see as I push down on this end of the ruler that there's some play there. I can rock it back and forth around a high point. There's a high point in the counter here somewhere, sort of right in the sink area of the countertop. And if we go back to the image again, we'll see that the high point of the counter is right here in the sink area of the countertop. The counter is not as flat as you might have assumed it was. So if you've seen the example of the curved countertop, let me put it to you that there are in fact 3 possible explanations for that. One, The curve was introduced by the software during the process of compressing the image. We checked that, and that doesn't happen. 2, perhaps the curvature is caused by a defect in the camera lens that the person took the photo with. Unless we can get our hands on that person's camera, there's not really anything I can do to eliminate that possibility. The third possibility, which we've just demonstrated here, is that, in fact, the countertop is not as straight as you might assume that it is. Perhaps the curvature really is there in the countertop. After showing the curvature and its cause in the previous videos, it became clear that I should address some of the pushback about these compressed images. One prominent flat earther has been insisting that this compression technique is dishonest. It isn't. The compression technique in itself is used to help bring out any curvature that is already in the image. But that brings us to the complaint that the curvature got into the image due to the camera lens, but wasn't really there. There is some truth to that, but that's not a justification to throw out the technique altogether. If the lens is altering the curvature, we'd need a way to evaluate how much of the curve is from the lens, leaving whatever is left as the real curvature. But we can do that. At this point, the typical fallback is to decide that the existence of visual curvature doesn't prove anything. As I have stated in my previous video, there's a strong case here. If the horizon is below eye level, it will appear curved, whether the Earth is flat or not. But if that's the position you are taking, why did you start with the claim that the curve isn't there? Let's not forget, the whole point of this investigation started from the claim that lack of visible curvature proves the Earth is flat. This is not a straw man. This is literally Eric Dubé's first proof of flat Earth. And more recently, we've seen Mark Sargent making a similar claim. As we've all seen, photos showing the curvature are readily available. Is it just a trick? No. Is it an illusion caused by the camera? Well, sometimes, but not always. Without making any statements about the cause, the visible curvature is there, which brings us to those who now suggest that the curvature proves nothing. I'm ready to discuss that. But remember where we started, and indeed where many prominent flat earthers still are. So which is it? Would curvature prove that it's a globe? Or is that only something you're willing to say until someone actually shows you curvature? You can't have it both ways.
There you go. What do you reckon?
It's a very good presentation. It's kind of different from the way I would approach it because, the fact that compression doesn't introduce curvature is fairly obvious to anybody who understands the formula for a straight line and the effect of a variable substitution. Mathematically, compression cannot introduce a curve. I do like you're still there, Farmer's Boy. I'm a huge Archer fan, so
let me just take a drink in.
In his honor, yeah. That's a very thorough discussion and description, and I suspect we all know who the prominent flat earther he's discussing might be.
Yes.
Because when Jaron brought it up with his various discussions with MC Toon, it just seemed like this is something that's been bothering you for some time, mate.
Yes.
Well, this is one of the things Turing test says you can't use fairly obvious with flirts. They don't play fair. And I have to say, you've got, if you're going to talk to flirts, you've got to kind of abandon the mindset that you're going to be able to convince them this conversation that you've got anything. That's not the way it can progress. And I've been guilty of sort of trying to do that in the past. And I just think it's unrealistic. They've spent years dedicating themselves to flat Earth. They're not going to abandon it just on the basis of one conversation. So yeah, we need to adopt a more patient, a longer term attitude.
It is difficult because a lot of people go into the forums, etc., and just are there to laugh at them. And of course, you can be in the middle of trying to have a sensible conversation, and then someone will just jump all over it. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
they're normal people.
Yeah,
because they're not.
Well, I mean, but some of them are, right. I mean, this is the thing. You can't really paint them, paint them with a single brush. I've just been reading sort of How to Talk to Science Deniers, and the first chapter he goes to a flat Earth convention. He's a philosopher, and he's not a physicist, but he is able to spot all of the mistakes in their logic. But when he talks to them, almost universally, they all have some trauma, some traumatic incident in their life at which they became flat earthers. And if you notice, is it Marissa? She had some trauma. Quentin, the guy who, the pilot who got shot 4 times.
Yeah, both had brain injuries. Yeah.
There's emotional harm that they've suffered that has left them isolated and hurt, and they're looking for something to blame. They're looking for something to hang their hat on, and they're looking for some sense of community, some sense of elevating their self-image, and Flat Earth seems to offer them that. I think a lot of these people are quite hurt, and they're naturally distrustful, because I think that, if you take the attitude, if you count how many times, say, the media misrepresents something or fails to accurately report something, or how often a politician is allowed to just stand up on television and lie their ass off to you, you could easily defend from that sample. You could easily say, well, why would I trust anything? I feel like we just need to try and understand and empathize with them a little bit more. We need to give them a reason to trust us, that we're not out to get them, and that we are actually trying to help them ultimately. This seems to be an unpopular opinion what you were saying about people who just want to yell at them, that does seem to be something, but it just reinforces their self-image.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry, I prattle on a little bit.
That's all right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. It's come up to midnight. I like to try and finish it off around this time of night. Otherwise, we will go on forever.
Oh, yeah. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, that's fair enough.
So,
3 hours.
We can hang around in the YouTube, in the Zoom for a little bit, but if you guys would like to say goodnight to the Peanuts, I will push the stop button. Thank the Peanuts for coming. I'm very happy.
Good night, Peanuts.
Good night, Peanuts. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good night, Peanuts.
I should be able to
But before we finally finish, I do have to point out that last post in the side chat by Nerd Alert.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, when you mentioned about just shout that, I was like, no, don't say anything.
No, I'm guilty as charged. Like, absolutely.
We know.
I came in with I came into this with the attitude that, obviously I know stuff, and I've changed my opinion since then. I don't think I was that constructive, and I need to change strategies. But on my own basis, I deserve a lot of criticism, and I know for a fact that I'm going to yell at Flurs in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult not to, isn't it?
It's difficult. It's difficult not to, but I do understand if I'm being honest with myself, I do understand why they don't respond positively to that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a fair criticism.
Well, okay. Well, good night, Peanuts. I should be on again on Wednesday. You'll obviously know. You'll see the post, and we'll catch you then. See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's off, guys. So.